The world is full of wonders.
Magic is waiting in small moments.
And monsters might be watching, just out of sight.
But if you're looking to find them,
adventure is waiting to happen.
You never know who you'll meet along the way.
We are the Storyteller Squad. Hello, adventurers. Welcome back to the Storyteller Squad. Thanks for joining us for more Monster of the Week. Before we begin, let's check in with our heroes.
This plan better work, because otherwise we're going to have to overthrow the entire monarchy. I'm Damien Edgecrest.
Gathering a list of impossible ingredients, finding an impossible creature to win an impossible court case. Someone once said, I've believed as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast, so I think we'll be okay. I'm Raven Eugenia.
Oh, Brittany!
Yay!
Wow, that was real fucking cute of you, my guy.
I came up with it in the last 5 minutes. I'm so happy.
Oh, but it was so good.
Yay!
Okay, get the ingredients, get the Jabberwocky tooth. Nothing can go wrong. We only have so many things to do and just the one monumental task to deal with. It's gonna be fine, right? I'm Amity Starnbrook.
I'm good at a few things, but courting and courting are definitely not on that list. Is it too late for trial by combat? I'm Hugo Rashad.
Bless.
Your Honor, in my client's defense, these charges are cringe. I'm Lonnie Whittaker.
Perfect.
I need a new lawyer.
Look at my lawyer, dog. I'm going to jail.
The time has come, the witches said, to talk of other things, of ducks and crows and messy homes, of moss and stumps and twigs, and why monsters are always hot, and missing angel wings. Callooh Callay, now let's away. I'm Merlin, first at things. Let's have an adventure. Mel is stunned into speechlessness. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Last time, our heroes found themselves in the royal folk courts of Savanweald at the start of a trial proceeding for Hugo Rashad. Dr. Aranya Kabe, attorney at law, explained that while he could help defend Hugo in court, the best way to ensure Hugo's freedom might lie in his missing memories, and charged Amity, Raven, and Damien with figuring out how to possibly retrieve them. Whittaker and Kabe worked to defend Hugo and find the flaws in the case against him, cross-examining the witnesses called forth by the prosecution, which was being led by none other than Jaron Drakir, the forest dragon dating Raven's brother. Navigating the logic of the folk legal system was no easy feat, and we left off in this arena following Princess Anya's turn on the witness stand, where she had just endured severe questioning and was forced to admit some truths she might have otherwise wished to keep to herself. Meanwhile, the rest of our heroes traveled to seek the advice and counsel of Amity's teachers, Merlin, Nana Margie, and the Morrigan, and met some other odd citizens of the Havens visiting for tea. We learned a little about Amity and Merlin's past as she reminisced about their first meeting and early lessons, and Raven pieced together a theory that fragments of memory could be collected from the Havens with a powerful enough gathering spell. Nana Margie prepared a spell ingredient list with Damien, the last and most potent of all being a Jabberwock tooth. And this is where we'll pick up now. So, hunters, you are about to set off on your quest for ingredients through the Havens. Who is going to lead the first leg of the journey?
I mean, I kind of feel like it has to be Amity, doesn't it?
Yeah.
She's the one who knows the way through the Havens.
Yeah.
Here's my question.
Sure.
Are we going straight for the Jabberwock tooth, or are we going for everything else first? What else is on the list, Natalie?
Here's how I would like to do this.
Yeah, please explain.
I'm going to let y'all contribute to the description of the strange and magical locations in the Havens that you visit. And whilst doing so, it will be up to y'all to roll Investigate a Mystery or just straight sharp checks, and then decide what magical ingredients you find, because this is going to be a bit of a montage that we put together. But for like specific vignettes, we will sort of zoom in and narrow in on whatever you think is fun and cool to include.
Okay.
You're on a quest.
How many ingredients do we need to get?
More than we have time to make scenes for.
Okay. Okay. All right.
But rather than me coming up with a list of like 50 spell ingredients, being like, you got to get them all. Like, we'll pick ones. You guys can come up with some if you want to that feel fun. And we'll just show you guys collecting them and encountering some challenges whilst doing so.
So we can like make a bunch of fun little fey, nature-y places to visit.
Yeah.
I have one requirement.
Yeah.
One of the locations will need to be a reflecting pool that you have to fish into,
I love that.
Ooh,
because fish are good for memory.
Oh my God, I love that.
that's fun.
Do we do tiny plot where we get shrunk down to like really, really tiny to do something cute and adorable?
Have a little adventure with some bumblebees or something.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's like learn a bumblebee dance.
The dance of a bumblebee is on there. We have to learn it. I know it's not super important, but just for fun, I'm going to keep track of all the ingredients in a checklist.
No, I love that. Do it.
Because from last episode, it was Tears of a Turtle and Griffin Feather, which we already got. You mentioned a 3-day-old diamond,
Mm-hmm.
the tooth of a Jabberwock, and now we're adding the dance of a bumblebee. And then I feel like the fish one, like a day said, maybe like the eye of the fish or something, because fish are good for memory. And we also need to see the memories.
How many scenes do you actually want to do?
It's whatever feels correct, right? Like, we'll do some checks. You guys will describe finding some cute magical stuff, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
I have ideas for locations as well, but my brain is tired.
Okay.
And I didn't want to come up with it all myself.
That's so valid. Especially rapid fire, really fun and interesting locations for us to be in for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it'd be a lot more fun to build them together. First of all, you guys are at Merlin's cottage still.
Yeah.
How are you leaving? I think is a question we need to answer first.
Oh, how are we leaving?
I guess we have to decide, are we doing the other ingredients first, or are we trying to get that tooth if we think that's going to be the most difficult?
Pacing wise, you should do the tooth last.
Logically, I want to do it first because it's going to be the hardest, but narratively, we should do it last.
That's what you would do in your day-to-day life. Tooth is like finale.
We'll save it for later.
I'll try and set the scene
Okay.
now that my brain is warming up and kicking off.
Okay.
So we pick up at Merlin's cottage, which previously had the energy of a tea party and then an after-school study session. Now has taken on the energy and bustle of preparing for an event. There is a large fire being stoked outside, and Nana Margie has set up her massive cauldron. Her enchanted magical soup pot is being warmed by the coals that Gilly is under there stoking and using a little horn to like blow air into the fire and get it going. Nana Margie is actually floating above the cauldron in her massive Dunkin' cup,
Icon.
stirring this broth that she's begun in a way that basically she looks like a gondola operator, but she's just like moving a spoon through the pot.
Ugh.
I think we see the Morrigan by a tree nearby,
Mm-hmm.
and she is whispering to a flock of crows. One will land on her finger, she will whisper something and then set it off, and she just keeps sending birds out in all directions. And then we see Merlin, followed by a parade of books, floating and bobbing in a line behind them. And as they're flipping through the pages of one, they will stop on a section, read a little bit, and then just sort of toss the book into the air, reach behind them for the next one and pull it forward. And the book that was thrown into the air will tumble, its pages flap a little bit, and then it settles into place in the procession and continues to follow. And they just are rotating through books like this, looking up spell incants and various magical theory sections, which they're like taking note of mentally. We see them pause and look up at the ridge that sort of shades their cottage from direct sunlight. And we see the three of you up there. Amity with your staff and Whisper nearby, Raven with Windy at your side, and Damien holding the long list of ingredients. And Merlin will put a hand up to their eyes, then give you all a little wave, and they say, "Good luck. I mean, it's, just your friend's eternal banishment, so no pressure."
Oh my God. Oh,
Thank you.
Ding!
thanks. Amity is like waving back until Merlin says that. And then she just kind of like, her hand kind of comes down a little bit. And she's just got this expression on her face like, God fucking damn it, Merlin. Yeah, no pressure. See ya.
On that note, let's do this.
Okay. You guys head through the havens. We can establish that when you need to leap from one haven to another, you guys can do that magic, but we don't have to describe that every time. It would take way too long.
Mm-hmm.
But we will just do that with camera cuts and show you all traversing various biomes and different sorts of paths. You start here in this like golden hour lit wood. Animals scamper through the forest on the edges of the path and sort of peer at you as you go. Then we see you hiking up an incline with mountains in the background. A wispy cloud spirit drifts by, waves at you all, and then carries on. Eventually, you are approaching what looks to be a sort of lakeside fishing town, and there's a light rain here. All of the people in this town are, in fact, fish walking around, and they are hauling these rusted items from the lake and sort of bringing them over to blacksmith shops where they are being polished and refined. And here you are in a spot where you think you're going to find an ingredient. So why don't you investigate a mystery?
Should we let Raven do that one?
I can. That's a 10.
Hell yeah.
All right. I think rather than the questions, which are more about like a particular thing, you can ask general questions or just describe an interaction that you have of you guys acquiring an ingredient you need.
Yeah, because otherwise my question would just be, where did it go? And that would be really boring.
Yeah.
Do we want to decide on the ingredient we're looking for so we know what to ask people for?
You gotta get a pearl of wisdom out of the reflecting pool.
I do like that a lot.
It's constantly raining on it, but the surface never breaks tension.
Hell yeah.
I love that.
Thank you a day for all your wisdom.
For this gift.
Yes.
You need a pearl of wisdom.
So many gems.
Raven will just walk up to the closest person to them who doesn't look like they're super focused or busy with anything
Mm-hmm.
and introduce herself.
You see a very portly catfish person rubbing rust off of the head of what looks like an ancient harpoon of some kind.
So this might sound weird, but maybe not. She kind of glances around, like remembering where she is.
Mhm.
We're looking for a pearl of wisdom that might have something to do with the reflecting pool around here. Do you think you could point us in the right direction?
They look up from what they're doing. They say,
Yes. But where is your purpose?
But where is your purpose? Is that what they said?
no, he said, where is your porpoise?
Oh, porpoise.
Raven is desperately trying to remember if she has like a similar spirit in her deck that she could maybe pull out at this
Ooh.
moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just waiting for Raven to say back, I don't have a porpoise.
You know, I'm working on it.
You have a whale, don't you? Isn't there a whale in the major arcana?
Oh, there is a whale, yeah. Specifically a humpback whale.
That's a big whale.
I don't know if we have enough space for you to summon a whole whale.
Literally one of the biggest whales.
That's true.
It's the Havens. You can do whatever you want here.
Fair.
All right, she's going to think about it for a second, then pull out her deck and be like, well, I don't have a porpoise, but I do have a whale. And then she's going to just try to summon like the spectral spirit of a fucking humpback whale.
Yeah. The humpback whale materializes in like an astral spectral form around you and just extends out over the reflecting lake. And this catfish sees it and says,
Well, that's quite impressive.
I hate you.
I suppose it's all right if you don't have a porpoise so long as you're here with them. You can find the pearls of wisdom in the reflecting pool just down the way. You'll have to talk to the clam on duty, but mind your manners, he's a real crab.
I thought he was a clam. Sorry.
No, that's a great point. Raven will just give the catfish man a cute little bow. Thank you very much, sir. That was very helpful. And then she will look for the clam in the direction that he pointed them and just have the whale spirit swim through the air above her as they go.
there's like the lake, right, where the rusty weapons are being taken out of and refined and cleaned up. And then right to the side of that, there is this little pool that's been sort of built up. And there is, in fact, a clam sitting on a wooden bench just to the side of it. And there's a sign and it says Pearls of Wisdom and then like a little inscrutable like currency symbol and 25.
Great.
Does Amity know what that currency symbol is?
It changes haven to haven.
Oh, the exchange rate has to be so annoying.
And it's totally inscrutable. It's not like a symbol that we might recognize as some physical object. Like, do they use seashells as currency?
That's a fun idea. Sure. It's like a little shell shape.
Oh my god.
I guess we need 25?
Let me see what I've got. And Amity's gonna start digging through her bag.
You can look for shells on the lakeshore too.
That's true.
Amity might have something that's worth 50 shells.
Yeah.
That's true.
Raven will start looking down the beach for shells if Amity wants to check and see if they've got anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They've got to be down for like bartering and stuff too.
I think for some reason Amity does in fact have like 5 shells, but she does not have 25. So
Mm-hmm.
It's a start.
she'll help Raven out by searching for more shells on the beach.
There's shells everywhere.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to make you guys dig for shells for hours. Like,
No.
Amazing.
Damien is a pro at shells and beaches, so collecting these is actually easy for him.
Amity and Raven pick up like a couple each and turn around, and Damien's just got his arms full already. Got enough plus tip.
Damien's job is beach.
incredible. All right, yeah. You end up with 25 shells.
Yeah.
The clam cracks their shell open, and you hear a voice from within say, "Gaze into the pool."
All of us?
They don't offer more instruction.
I guess we all go just in case.
Yep, we're all gonna go look in the pool.
You look in it, huh? You don't just get in it?
He said gaze into the pool.
I know.
Oh, okay. I think Amity looks into the pool and nothing happens, and she goes, "Oh," and then steps into the pool.
Raven goes, "Oh," and then also steps into the pool.
Okay, great. And the clam continues, and they say, "Now is no time to think of what you do not have. Think of what you can do with what there is." And a little bell rings. Ba-ding, ba-ding, ba-ding. "Thank you for purchasing a pearl of wisdom."
Okay. Was half expecting that.
Uh-huh.
God damn it. All right, first one. That wasn't so bad.
And so you move on from the little fishing town. You look furious, Mel. Did you not expect this to be the kind of adventure this is going to be?
I should expect nothing less. I just love how absurd it is. I love that we've suddenly switched to absurdia.
You know, it's the Havens.
Yeah.
Hey, we're through the looking glass.
Natalie.
Yes.
Natalie, can the next one be a camp of hippos?
I hate you.
I'm just saying.
I hate you so much.
The hippocampus is a very important part of memory.
I love this.
I support this, but with all my affection, I hate you. I actually thoroughly enjoy letting a day define the places.
Me too.
Oh, yeah, this is great. As you travel further, you hop a couple more havens, you end up on a grassy marsh, and up ahead there is just like a gateway that's made of like a few logs lashed together, and hanging from it is a sign, and it says, "Camp Tusca, Wisconsin Nanny." You can see several bipedal hippos sitting down at a table working on some arts and crafts. They are painting pumpkins because it's autumn. And yeah, it's like the last project of their summer camp here at the Hippo Summer Campus.
I'm in so much pain.
Damien, why don't you roll Investigate a Mystery and we'll find out what kind of ingredient you find here.
That's a 7.
Okay. It won't be quite as easy as your Pearl of Wisdom, but what do you think you're seeking here?
I think we are seeking a hippo tooth, but I think instead of taking it the Jabberwocky method, we're going to try to be more like a tooth fairy. And because they're young hippos whose teeth will fall out naturally, we have to bargain with one of these to take one of their baby hippo teeth.
I love it. It works out that the little hippo that comes to greet you says,
"Hello, welcome to Tusca Summer Camp. My name's Timothy.
Timothy? Was it Timothy? Is that what you said? You said Timothy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've known Timothy for 5 seconds and I would die for him.
Doris has not surfaced. He's off camera and gone.
Durs needed his own floor time.
Oh, man. Oh, if he talks with that much of a lisp, I feel like he just lost a tooth.
No, it's because it's loose.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Okay, I was gonna say we're gonna have to talk to all these little kid hippos and see who's got a loose one.
I mean, he's lost several, but like, there's definitely one that's sort of like wiggling back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, you made me roll. This is my scene, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's on you, boo-boo.
Hi, Timothy. We are trying to go on a magical quest to help our friend out, and we've got to go through and get everything on this list. And one of the things on this list is a hippo tooth. And we were hoping that we could trade and we could get a tooth that perhaps you don't need anymore.
Timothy sees where you're pointing on the list, and he says,
I have an idea.
what do you got?
Because it's a mixed, I feel like it's not gonna be as easy as just like trading with this kid. If he's young, I feel like he's gonna want us to like hang out with him and do some of the camp activities for a while. It's like we have to do fun stuff with him and hang out with him before he'll let us have this tooth.
I like that. He says,
Well, helping friends is what it's all about here at Tuscaloosa Hippo Summer Camp. Would you like to paint a pumpkin with me, sir?
Absolutely. Let's get to it. Damien will hand the list off to the other two so that he can have Hippo Camp Summer Camp montage while you guys work on the next ingredient.
incredible.
Yeah, we see Damien painting a pumpkin. You end up going to the beach and building a sand castle together. You play blindfold tag in a field of wildflowers.
Throughout all of these activities, there's moments where you think Timothy's tooth might somehow be lost. He's like running on the beach and falls and goes face first into a pile of sand.
Oh.
He gets up and laughs it off, but his tooth is still in his mouth. And then when you're playing tag, when he's blindfolded, he kind of trips and slams right into a tree.
Oh.
But these hippos are resilient. Again, still no tooth missing. And so it gets to be about midday here at the summer camp. Way too much time is passing. It's all right. Time's weird in the Havens. You reach sort of a moment of like the end of the day. You're sitting on a log staring off at the little river this camp is situated by. And Timothy is like, seems a little like crestfallen. And he says,
I'm so sorry, Mr. Wedgequist. I thought for sure my tooth would fall out today, and it seems to have not. I guess there's nothing left to do but have a bite of this peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
and he takes one bite and the tooth comes out. And there you go.
Oh my gosh.
Natalie, thank you for the gift that is Timothy.
Oh man, I can't wait for him to get like a cult following.
Yeah. Timothy t-shirts.
Oh my God.
Timothy, you have been so helpful today. That's exactly what we need. How can I say thank you for this?
God. I'm just trying to think of the most like teeth rottingly sweet thing for him to say. He says,
Well, you did spend the entire day with me, so let's just call it square.
and he takes the tooth out of the sandwich and hands it to you.
I hope you'll come back and visit sometime.
That sounds great. I'd like that.
So you can say goodbye to Timothy and rejoin Raven and Amity, who, did you guys enter the camp at all, or have you just been sort of on the outskirts watching this all happen?
I think Damien was like, I got this. And the girls just like did some camp activities while they waited for him.
I just pictured Raven and Amity doing almost the same activities just in the background.
Yeah.
Of every shot of Damien and Timothy.
Sure.
Yeah. Like Damien took the initiative and went up and introduced himself, and we're like, okay, we're just gonna watch him and see how this goes.
Sure. Sunset here. You all realize you've sort of gotten lost in the activities at Hippo Camp Summer Camp, but you got to press on. You need those ingredients.
Mhm.
I think as you leave the camp, you step through that archway again. And as you do, the light changes and you realize that like yes, you went their whole day of summer camp, but it seems to be the same time of day here outside the camp in this haven. And you look back and the light looks like it's daytime in there again. Those summer days, they all kind of blend together. It's weird.
Oh no. How long were we in there?
5 minutes? A summer? I don't know. It's the havens. You guys start traveling again. And as you are traveling, Windy's ears perk up. They take off ahead of you, Raven, just sort of bounding down the little path through this tall grass you're in. The grass is not so much green and dewy. It is more tall, dry prairie grass. What do you do?
She's just following. She trusts Windy wholeheartedly. If they've sensed something, she's trying to keep up.
And as Windy bounds up over a rise in the terrain, they're not quite running on the ground. They've leapt up onto the surface of the grass and are now running on it with their wind powers. And you see running in the opposite direction towards your group is another rabbit-like creature. They are bigger than Windy, with a gray pelt of fur. They share the hooved rabbit back feet Windy has, but a pair of curved pronghorn antlers stick forward and curve up from their head. Their spirit mask is a pale, weathered wood that looks like it's been sun-bleached to a pale grayish white. Poking down through the mask are a set of long canines, and as they get closer to Windy, a pair of wide owl's wings spread from their back and help slow their approach. You see from all across these plains, more rabbit-eared spirits poke their heads up above the tall grass and start to head your direction. You hear a whistling call, and swooping down from high in the sky is another spirit, which lacks antlers but has a smooth chestnut mask and sports long mottled wings and a hawk's tawny red tail feathers. They have a beige coat of fur with some warm brown accents near their wings and feline polydactyl front paws, and they land and join in a big group hug with Windy and the larger gray spirit. You see this gathering clan of rabbit-like spirits all here on the plains of this haven and greeting Windy.
Oh, it's Windy's home.
I feel like I get what's going on here, but can I use cryptid sighting anyway?
Yeah, sure.
I want to ask, what sort of creature is it? But I also want to know if I can tell, is it clear this is Windy's family? Are they being familiar enough that it's clear they know each other really well?
Yeah, I mean, they seem very happy to see each other, as much as you can read emotions from a bunch of rabbit spirits that all wear masks over their faces.
Aw, so it's like a reunion.
Yep.
That's very sweet.
Yeah, you see the gray-furred Wolpertinger, the one with fangs, antlers, and wings, fussing over Windy's mask and ears with familiar raccoon front paws, and the lighter brown Scavator, the winged one without antlers, seems to be inspecting Windy's quills. Windy will turn and give them another hug, and they wrap their big striped wings around Windy as part of it. It kind of reminds you of Aiden for a moment, Raven, since you would specifically know how nice that gesture is.
Mm-hmm. So cute.
More and more of these spirits bound or glide over to gather around Windy and these two in an excited semicircle. There are all sorts of fur colors and sizes of them with different woods and textures to their masks and slight variations on the chimeric nature of their features, but still generally rabbit and hair-shaped overall. And after a moment, Windy will pull away from all the hugs and point up to the top of the hill at your group, and all the spirits turn and see you there.
Raven will wave to them.
Amity also waves with a stunned expression on her face.
Windy will signal to you all come over and meet everyone.
Oh.
Amity's too excited to walk. She brooms her way down. It's just so cool.
They're very cute.
Damien's running to catch up.
And as you approach this family of spirits, the Wolpertinger steps up beside Windy, cautiously. They sit back on their hind legs and look you up and down. Then they look at Windy and give a clearly approving nod, and then look back at you, Raven, and they thump one of their front paws against their chest over their heart.
Oh, Raven's gonna do the same thing back.
Windy will scamper over and leap up onto your shoulder and kind of nuzzle into your hair. The Scavator hops forward looks you over, and then will like come a little closer to you and just like give your leg a hug.
Oh my god. I think Raven's gonna like get down on her knees and be like sitting in this field with them and just be interacting with them.
Oh yeah, as soon as you sit down, a bunch of the others, like that's like the signal. They all break and they all just like leap forward and they start like hopping all over you. Like
Yeah, holds out her arms, let them run up her shoulders. She's just playing with all of these amazing creatures.
Yeah, they want to sniff at you and see what you're carrying. And Wendy is sort of there and like directing, saying like, shoot, enough. Or, you know, like, oh, yo, you have to meet this one. This is my cousin. Calling certain shy ones over. Like, no, it's okay. Come on.
Oh my god.
Damien's trying to show these little guys the list.
Roll charm, Damien.
Oh,
That was a great idea.
8.
All right. You show them the list. And several of them, you know, when you're like saying the words out loud, will sort of look to each other as like a pair, kind of nod, and then scamper off into the grass and vanish.
Ooh.
And then another one will like climb up onto your shoulder, Damien, like scan the list, and then like tap at your shoulder real quick and then leap off and run off into the grass. And a lot of them do this. And Wendy seems to be like conferring with the two that seem to be their parents, nodding and like drawing little shapes and symbols and like things in the dirt here. Scribbles you wouldn't know how to make heads or tails of without spending a while learning how to decipher spirit things. But some of it is like pictograph in a way. So you see like Wendy does like a little quick stick drawing of all of you and then like draws a bit of Savenweald and draws like a little stick figure of Hugo and Whittaker. And they go for a while, like several minutes pass of Wendy just like sketching and scribbling. And, you know, occasionally they will like take a quill off their back and fire it low over the ground to just like wipe the dirt clean and start over again and like draw new stuff. They sketch out the apartment where you guys live and they draw a little sketch of Ruby and put like hearts around them. And
Oh my god.
yeah, it's just very sweet little family reunion moment.
Oh, that's so cute.
And eventually some of these spirits start to come back and they are carrying things from the list, Damien. There is a sprig from, you know, a new evergreen tree. There are berries from
Yggdrasil, the world tree. Oh, this saves us a trip. This is great.
world tree berries, winter berries, salmon berries, these little wild raspberries.
Vines from a forget-me-not.
You get bark from a rainbow tree and tufts of spider silk. All sorts of ingredients arrive as these spirits start to return with things off your list and offer them over. And as you are getting these ingredients back, you then hear a whistle. And all of the jackalopes and various rabbit spirits, their ears go straight up. And all their heads sort of turn in unison. And you see a spirit who is like leaping above the grass. They got something in their mouth, but when they leap above the surface of the grass, they like pull a quill out quickly and fire it into the air. And as it flies, you hear that whistle again. Now all the spirits start to pull quills. And you see Wendy rushes over to your side, Raven, and climbs onto your shoulder and sort of peers back to where their family member is like making this signal. A little ways off, down this prairie landscape, you see two figures approaching your position.
Uh-oh.
They pause on a rocky ridge that juts out of the tall grass, one of them with a long, writhing body and whipping tail, making fast, darting head movements and seems to be sniffing at the air. The other, with similarly abrupt and predatory motion, is clicking its sinister beak over and over, sending these sharp, echoing clicks across the wide open terrain here. You behold the royal beasts, the terrible Jub bird, and the frumious Bandersnatch.
Fuck.
God damn it.
This is the outcome of your mixed result, Damien. You have collected a lot of ingredients with the help of Wendy's family, but now trouble has found you. This tall, long-legged bird stands at about 10 feet high. It has a long neck like a cassowary and very severe features and a very sharp beak like a secretary bird. It has a long tail that almost looks like a peacock's tail that has not been displayed, trailing behind its body as it stands there on the ridge, scratching the long talons on its feet into the rock, and rising from the center of its head in the way that roosters and cassowary birds have a crest is a shape similar to those,
but made of pure diamond. It glints and catches the sunlight as it glances around, though the eyes of the mask are the same empty void of all spirit masks. And joining this terrifying avian predator is the Bandersnatch, an unnaturally elongated and snaking weasel-like creature. Its body is covered in a mix of brown and white fur, like a stoat halfway through changing its coat for the winter, save for its long, fluffy tail, which is striped black and white like a raccoon's, and whipping about excitedly. This creature has a white spirit mask with veins of gold and amber filigree. Its nimble paws have very sharp claws on them, and everywhere this creature steps, the grass seems to get brittle and shatter. And those of you keen-eyed enough to see it from this distance would see that the grass is freezing, like it had been dipped in liquid nitrogen, as this creature's touch coats it in frost. Trails of steaming condensation drift from their mask as this creature exhales extreme cold with every breath.
Just a quick question, Natalie.
Yeah.
Has Amity heard of these creatures before? She spent 2 years here. She learned a lot of things.
Yeah. You could suspect that these are the royal beasts. One belonging to King Nuada, the other to Queen Maeve. And these two hunter spirits eventually train eyes on your little group gathered here on the prairie and take off running towards you at very quick speeds.
Oh, shit.
And we will cut away.
Oh, rude.
I just want to say 2 seconds ago, Raven was like laying on the ground, like when people are surrounded by a bunch of puppies, just like smothered in these adorable animals. And as soon as that whistle went off, she's up. God damn it.
Sorry.
Are you?
It's adventure. It's gotta be scary sometimes.
We return to the courts of Savanweald as the session resumes. King Nuada and Queen Maeve retake their seats at the top of the judgment tree. Princess Bridget is here. I think Anya still was escorted out of the courtroom, so she's probably in a holding chamber somewhere nearby, but she is not being allowed to just like sit at her seat upon the tree for these proceedings. Or perhaps she has chosen not to. Unclear. We'd have to ask her to find out. But the trial resumes, and the Queen looks to your section, Hugo and Whittaker and Dr. Kabe, and she says,
The case will resume. Defense, call your first witness.
The defense would like to call Heather Springer to the stand.
She's not gonna like this.
a portal opens, and once again, similar to Rhea dropping out of it, we hear, "Ah!" Heather lands with her red construct weapons drawn at the ready, and she very quickly scrambles to her feet and gazes around, and the crowd, of course, is like, "Oh, another witch hunter!" But she takes in her surroundings, trying to get a bearing on what has happened to her.
Next time we should send them a message in advance.
Phones don't work here.
Hi, Heather. Sorry about the short notice. But I don't suppose you could answer some questions for us.
Heather catches sight of you and Hugo, and I think...
Not questions about you specifically, if that helps.
She just grits her teeth, closes her eyes, and almost defeatedly just like allows the weapons to dissipate and her hands drop to her side. And she throws her head back and just says, "When my brother hears who gave me a 2 a.m. paranormal booty call, I am never going to let him live this down."
God.
And she walks over to the witness stand as directed.
Thank you so much for your time, Heather. Miss Springer, would you like to tell the court, how did you meet Hugo Richard?
Your group and my family crossed paths in the Dakotas 2 years ago.
Did you know who he was before you met him?
No. I thought he was just some guy traveling with a strange bunch of weirdos.
You'd never seen him before?
No.
Had you heard the name Hugo Richard before?
No.
Miss Springer, when were you made aware that Hugo belonged to the organization known as the Whispered?
She glances to Hugo and then back to you to address you, and she says, We had an intimate moment in the Badlands. That's when I noticed his tattoos. Fucking bad timing. The crowd within the court erupts with scandalous whispering.
Whittaker's like, wait, I didn't know this.
No, you did not. Probably because Hugo might not have framed it that way.
Somehow there's like an iced coffee in Whittaker's hand that's like shaking like very intensely. Oh
my.
Interesting.
Scandalous.
Hey, now I don't feel as guilty. And what was your reaction upon realizing that he was a part of the Whispered?
I tried to kill him.
No, that's right.
Hugo nods to confirm.
Hugo is just nodding in confirmation.
Would you like to tell the court why you attempted to kill Hugo Richard?
I assumed he had been sent to kill me and my family. That he had been assigned to track us down and tie up loose threads after I betrayed the Whispered and fled.
During your entrance, you demonstrated this quite thoroughly, but can you confirm for the court that you are also part of an organization known as the Whispered?
Despite my best efforts to the contrary, and she summons one of her red daggers. The royal guard tense, but they at least do not react, allowing it to be shown as evidence.
Miss Springer, you said that you expected Hugo Richard to be someone attempting to kill you and your family. Would you consider that standard practice for the Whispered?
It was standard practice for the chapter I had been part of at the time. No one outside of the group was supposed to know about the group's existence. We were told witnesses would endanger us and the mission. So, when my niece became aware of my abilities, after I needed to use them to protect her, my chapter leaders called for her execution. So, instead, I killed every other member of my chapter. And then we started running. The murmurs from the crowd have gotten very quiet and very somber. There is a touch of fear in the room as Heather openly admits to murdering an entire Whispered cell.
Thank you, Miss Springer. Did Hugo Richard, at any point during your acquaintance with him, attempt to kill you?
No, not directly, at least.
Shit! Shit, fuck! Oh, I want her to elaborate on that. Before we elaborate on that, we can't elaborate on that.
We have to elaborate on that.
Hey, we'll let the cross elaborate on that. You know, that's not our job.
Okay.
Miss Springer, describe how Hugo Richard reacted when you attempted to kill him.
He barely defended himself, which maybe saved his life. He maintained that I was wrong and that he had no idea about my past or any intention to hurt my family. He said he had no idea I was part of the Whispered until I revealed my abilities.
Is this a moment you would mind showing to the court? And Whittaker looks over at Kabe. I specifically want the court to see the image of Hugo lying down on the ground and just being like, do it. Go ahead.
She doesn't quite know what you mean, but Dr. Kabe will step forward and say, "If I could project a memory of yours, Miss Springer, as evidence." And she nods. Okay, yeah, hard to forget a moment like that. And the moment is displayed. We see Heather turning on Hugo suddenly, attempting to bring her knives to bear on his throat, being pushed back at least enough to create distance, and then some shouting and words exchanged, followed by Hugo just going flat onto the ground. When do you want the memory to end?
Just the reaction, really, and like the clear display of like Hugo not being not being a threat, number one, and number two, not acting the way a Whispered member would. By like the understanding that she had given the court.
Sure.
And if anybody looks at him on the bench, he seems slightly embarrassed.
Oh. The memory is returned to Heather. Kabe nods and cedes questioning back to you, Whittaker.
Were you aware of the sect of Whispered members that Hugo was a part of?
No.
During your time as a Whispered member, were you made aware of any other sects of Whispered organizations?
I knew there were other groups, but I never met anyone from a different chapter before Hugo.
Was there ever any official communication between you and other Whispered organizations?
Not that I knew about.
Were you made aware of any prophecies concerning Hugo Rashad?
No. Honestly, I was only in contact with Hugo Rashad for about 24 hours.
Were you ever pursued by any other members of the Whispered organization? Any other attempts to tie up loose ends, in your words?
Only if you count the fact that Hugo texts me sometimes, asking for updates, which I rarely provide.
I wish I had more zinger questions, but a lot of this is just me trying to establish the Whispered folks are a varied and fractured organization.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone's got other...
Hugo, any questions you want to ask Heather?
I have ideas of questions. I don't think he wants to ask them, but I have ideas.
That's fair enough.
I think there is also I would like the court to be made aware of the poaching operation that these two took down as a show of, here are some things that the Whispered do that have nothing to do with targeting Fae.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that might be something that is just played better as a little memory montage as opposed to asking specific pointed factual questions.
Could be, if that's what you want it to be.
I don't know. I don't know what sounds good.
Emery, 2 questions to have Whittaker ask.
Let's hear it.
What does Heather believe the Whispered's purpose is?
I like it.
And though she has Whispered tattoos, does she still consider herself a member of the Whispered?
Love it. Awesome. Those are solid.
So the first question, she says,
I can't say what the purpose of Whispered groups are now. My chapter's leaders were obsessed with a mission that the New Jersey incursion 2 years ago would have made impossible. Sometimes I wonder if they would have adapted to the revelation. But before things went bad with my group, our mission was to protect people from monsters and dangerous phenomena. I guess the agency handles stuff like that now.
and to the second, she says,
I don't know if what I consider myself matters. This tattoo isn't leaving my body.
Thank you, Miss Springer. What happened after the two of you confirmed that both of you were Whispered members and were not going to kill each other?
Well, basically immediately after that, we learned that my family and his friends were being held against their will by an extremely dangerous group of people. So, Hugo and I became dangerous people and handled things. And she notices Jay and some of the crowd shift and tense at that description and adds, we rescued them, thanks to our Whispered training.
If you were not in possession of your Whispered training or the abilities given to you by your tattoos, would you have been able to save the lives of your family and mine?
I don't know, but I still would have tried. And I believe Hugo still would have as well. And I think that last statement doesn't ease the tension in the room, but the whispers lessen. And there are some thoughtful nods from some of the folk. They can appreciate, if nothing else, Heather's tenacity and conviction.
I'm trying to figure out if there's a way to spin this to the conclusion that the purpose of the Whispered is not specifically to target or antagonize the folk, but to protect all peoples from dangers of any kind.
Heather might not be the witness to try and make that argument with.
Probably not. But hey, at least she's not a goat.
That's true.
But she is the goat.
Well, if that's all the questions you have for her, Kabe will address Jay and say,
Your witness, prosecution. Jay floats over to the witness stand and begins to pace as they question Heather. Miss Springer, you mentioned it not up to you whether you are a member of the Whispered or not. Correct. Would you say that bearing a tattoo like that bestows membership on a person regardless of their loyalties?
yes,
Do you know of any way to remove one?
no.
Then, once given that mark, a person cannot stop being a Whispered member. Yes, which would mean Hugo Rashad can never stop being a part of the Whispered.
Objection. Speciality.
In what way?
While the witness does have some knowledge of the organization's processes and practices, she is not qualified to comment on what constitutes membership or binding authority.
I don't remember the actual objection's called. There's a term for it, but I don't remember it. Essentially, it's when someone tries to be a specialist in a field of something when they actually don't have the speciality for it.
Ah, okay, sure.
The king speaks up and says,
Sustained. Rephrase your questioning, prosecutor.
and Jay nods. He gives a respectful glance to you, Hugo. That was a keen play, but his gaze returns to Heather. To phrase it differently, Miss Springer, who would have authority to determine binding membership to the Whispered? One of the leaders, I suppose? And Jay turns to address the room.
The court will note, other witnesses have testified in these proceedings that Hugo Rashad is a leader of the Whispered.
He turns back to Heather and says,
Are Whispered members trained in the art of killing?
Yes.
In your experience, is Hugo Rashad trained in the art of killing?
Yes.
Have you observed this firsthand?
Yes.
And did you not earlier describe yourself and Mr. Rashad as dangerous, especially within the context of performing this art?
Yes.
If you would once again consent to sharing your memories, I would request a more direct account of this incident, Miss Springer.
And Heather nods, grimly, sparing a look for the group of you on the defense side of the court.
A memory is pulled, and we see the night of the attack on Lanal Rouge's camp. Heather is engaged in fighting against one of the Chupacabra. We see as it leaps on her, it is forced off by a lightning blast. And then Hugo leaping over Heather's body, and we hear the sound of striking batons.
As the memory continues, we see Heather land one of her knives in the throat of someone about to train their machine gun on Hugo.
They stumble forward and drop to their knees in front of Hugo, who pulls the knife and throws it back at Heather, who quickly sidesteps, and we see the red knife catch another one of the poachers in the face, and they double over backwards. And Jay just says,
That's enough, I think. No further questions, Miss Springer. And Jay returns to the prosecution's seat. Heather looks around and says, So, can I go, or...
What do you think, Ade? Is it more fun if she just is dropped through another portal and, allowed to leave, or kept here for the rest of the trial?
Surprise hole in the ground. Always classic.
Okay, so the king and queen confer for a moment, and while they're talking, Heather calls to you, Hugo. Hugo, look, I'm sorry I haven't ever called back. And she drops through the ground through another portal the same way she arrived. The queen has a bemused smile on her face, and the king has his head in his hands. Given your dangerous nature, Miss Springer, you are dismissed from these proceedings.
God fucking damn it.
Call your next witness, defense.
Hey, Kabe, this is a long shot. Can you call the queen?
You ballsy motherfucker.
Okay.
If you have questions, we can call whoever we like. I hope you know what you're doing.
Oh, I never do.
The defense calls Her Majesty, the autumnal Queen Maeve, to the stand. Outrageous! I can't believe! Do you believe the nerve of this defense counsel?
The audacity.
All the Fae and folk nobles whispering amongst each other. But the queen gives an imperious look to you and Kabe and Whittaker, and she says, Bold of you, Spider. Very bold. And she steps from the branches she is seated in and floats down, almost as though the train of her dress were slowing her descent through the branches of the tree. And when she's on the ground, she walks over and takes her position at the witness stand.
Oh, I really shouldn't do this.
You got that right.
But I'm going to do this.
You got this.
Your Majesty, thank you for entertaining my questions.
We will see if I am entertained by these questions. Proceed.
Firstly, would you describe to the court your daughter, Anya?
She takes a moment to collect her thoughts and then says, "The Princess Anya is the warmth you feel in the shade of summer. She is the lazy days that pass into cool nights, serenaded by the chirping of frogs and crickets underneath a sky clear to the stars.
She has had a fascination with the human realm since she was young, for reasons I cannot fathom. She is gentle and kind, and perhaps more capable of love than is good for her. She is my youngest, and the treasure of my heart."
Would you consider her to have been a tenacious individual?
Her tenacity is varying in certain matters in which strength or discipline is asked of her. She struggles to meet expectations. In other cases, she is as unyielding as the heat of midsummer. She has much to learn when it comes to bringing that same strength to issues for which she is not perhaps as invested.
Do you believe that your kin is capable of being bewitched?
All folk are subject to the same laws of magic as all others. There is no protection a royal status grants other than the blades of our royal guard. Her inexperience itself is a lack of armor and protection when it comes to seeing the true nature of things, spotting deviousness or cunning, discerning affection from flattery.
Would you describe to the court the deal which has been referenced in these proceedings, the one struck between you and her?
The Princess Anya promised to remain in Savenweald until Hugo Rashad drew his dying breath.
Would you explain to the court why you made that deal?
My reasonings were twofold: to teach Anya the lesson of being wary of promises made even to those she loves, and more critically, to protect my daughter from the heartbreak awaiting her at the end of a mortal paramour's existence. Your lifespans are a blink in the timelines we tread. I wish to spare her that loss and pain.
In the time since, have you two spoken of this agreement?
I think you see the queen, something about her now feels uncomfortable. She says,
No, she resents me for it, even after its terms were satisfied, well ahead of their intended timeline. The princess avoids speaking to me when at all possible. It is a price I had not expected to pay for my efforts to protect her.
If the princess was willing to speak with you, would you speak with her?
Yes, I find myself wishing she would. I miss her.
And maybe without meaning to, under his breath, Hugo says, I wish she would too. No further questions, Your Honor.
Jay approaches the witness stand very deferentially and says, I will not take much of your time, Majesty. Do you love your daughter, Anya? Yes, very much. No further questions. And he returns to his seat. The queen ascends to her place amongst the branches of the throne tree, the train of her dress creating frozen stairs for her to climb, and she sits once again next to the king, who I think watches her as she approaches with a focus we have seen him rare to fully give to these proceedings. And when she sits down, he places his silver hand over hers and gives it a squeeze.
Hugo also takes his seat again. I know that probably wasn't the best thing to do for our case, Kabe, but even if I don't make it out of this, I want to make sure that they do.
You will recall this is the folk courts, Hugo Rashad. Revealing the heart's desires is a very legitimate tactic.
Sometimes you're too good for your own good, Hugo.
Story of my life, mostly.
Kabe looks to you and says, I cannot say how much longer your companions will be, but our list of potential witnesses grows short.
Oh, yeah.
Who then should we call?
He said not to call Anya until they're back.
I mean, we might have to.
We could call in Argyle, we could call in Carla. Neither of those is going to go well.
Your friends are seeking your memories. The princesses are intact. It might do well to hear her side of things when we are asking the questions, especially following that line of questioning. And his eyes dart to the queen very quickly before settling back on yours.
You know, I realize we could have a meeting of the in-laws.
Oh,
Yes,
my
yes,
word.
do it. Come on.
You know what? Ab game. Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
All right.
In game. Well, this will also be a good chance to say goodbye if I need to. So
Oh, no.
let's call my mom. The defense would like to call Miranda Rashad to the stand.
A portal opens, and your mom is drawn through and ends up there just before the witness stand, clutching her hair and some papers she was holding. And then she looks around and she says, Oh no.
Sorry, Miss Rashad. I hope you weren't in a meeting.
You're supposed to tell me when you travel.
Yeah, sometimes it's not an option.
She will take the stand, and we will cut away. Back to the Plains Haven
Oh, no.
as your group watch these two fearsome critters rushing towards you and the gathered group of rabbit spirits. What do you do?
Can I use cryptid sighting?
Sure.
You kind of explained what their deal was, but I'm just going to ask what can it do and hope that they might show off a little bit as they're running towards us and give us an idea of what we're working with.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, why not? You see a few of the spirits, and in fact, the Grey Wolpertinger stamps their foot on the ground, and several of the little spirits rush forward. They all pull quills and fire a volley that flies into the air and arcs towards the two creatures running towards your group here. And we see the Jubjub bird skid to an abrupt halt, spin around, and its tail fans open. And we see the feathers on this tail shine and gleam like glass or crystal. And several of the quills impact with these feathers and are knocked away. The tail then collapses the other direction. The Jubjub bird now has like fully done a 360 in place and takes off running again. And we see the diamond crest on its forehead begin to light up, and a bolt of dazzling energy fires towards your group and the wind spirits.
We are using magic to make a barrier. God.
Go ahead, roll use magic, Amity.
Yeah, Amity's just gonna rush forward to meet them. Oh, God. Ha! That's... Okay, so we're at 9... I can math. 12.
Okay, that's advanced too, right?
Yep.
What's the bonus you want?
I think it bounces the attack back at them. It doesn't just block
Nice.
it. It reverses it.
Yeah. Describe how she does it.
Okay, so we see Amity rushing forward, and she leaps into the air way higher than she should be able to physically. Her gravitational magic just like carries her upwards and over the front line of spirits and onto the top of the hill in one leap. And she does this big grand spin and swings her staff around, and we see this like shimmering force like spread out from her.
Mm-hmm.
When it solidifies, it kind of expands out and then locks into place. And when that happens, it perfectly impacts with this beam of energy and turns it back on them.
All three of you recognize this type of energy beam.
Oh, I had a feeling.
Oh my god! No!
Van meter adjacent, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
This Van Meter's bitch-ass cousin. Oh no.
But the beam is caught by your barrier and refracted as the barrier takes on a lens shape and reflects the blast back towards Jub Bird as it is running towards you, and it very quickly just sort of darts to the side. It carves a trench in the grass and dirt and sends sod flying into the air, but the bird just continues to run forward at a very quick pace. Not quite snipe speed fast, but certainly very quickly. As the bird is running, we see dark clouds on the horizon starting to gather and be blown towards you all, and more sparks are gathering at the crest of this creature. However, also running side by side with it, leaping and slithering through the grass, is the furry serpentine Bandersnatch. And you see, again, more of everywhere it runs, the grass is coated in a frost and becomes very brittle. A few of the wind spirits rush from the grass and fire arrows at Bandersnatch, and it turns to face them, and a bright light blue orb of light forms in front of their mask, and then a like cone of frost emits forward, and many of these wind spirits are sort of caught in the cold and sort of tumble into the grass covered in little frozen bits on their fur. So that's some of what these things can do.
Damien is charging up to them, and once he gets close, you'll see he's got 2 peanut butter cookies in his left hand from Nana Margie.
Bless him. I support this.
And mashes them together into a smushed pile, and then spreads that smushed pile on top of his hair.
Oh.
And as he does, it begins to grow this peanut buttery mess until he's covered in slimy peanut butter.
Ew.
And then this slime-covered guy starts shuffling forward. We're going to try to restrain it and gunk it up.
Yo!
What? All right.
So he charges towards the Jub Bird.
Oh my god.
Okay, this is definitely a use magic to see how well this peanut butter slime form works.
Oh my god.
If you can't make your own slime, store-bought is fine.
And 7 and 3 is 10. We kick his ass.
Amazing! What bonus are you taking?
I get them where I want them, which is restrained.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you leap forward on the prairie, goop sliding over the grass ahead of all the other spirits and everyone else gathering on the hill, and engage the Jub Bird. Can you describe how, like, these peanut butter tendrils gunk up this bird?
I hate the phrase peanut butter tendrils. It's gonna be so real.
Yes.
Again, it is this massive 10-foot creature with this dazzling laser crest on its head.
Oh, 10 foot tall? Okay, I'm not mounting its back.
Yeah, it's big.
We are sticking to the legs, literally running up, and peanut butter mess is extending from his hands. So he slides by and gives the leg a big old hug, coating it in peanut butter. And as the bird is trying to peck at him, he lets go and then grabs onto the other leg, and as it's kicking around and trying to peck him and whatnot.
Like a toddler given a bit of peanut butter, suddenly there is peanut butter all over this Jub Bird. Just smeared around and sticking between its limbs and feathers. I think if you go to like peanut butter lash its beak closed or something, one of these, like, I wish there was like an adjective for peanut butter. But a peanut butter tendril flies out around its beak and tries to restrain it. We see the tail, that like fan-like tail of these feathers, actually whips around to try and sever that tendril. And as it moves and sort of cuts its way through the tendril, missing your actual
human arm, which is again down on the ground, you see the feathers are actually like shearing against each other like scissors. But yeah, there is just way too much of this cookie peanut butter magic that you are wielding. And Jubjub is certainly slowed down, if not to a complete halt, at least struggling to make further progress towards the rest of you. But Bandersnatch is not so restrained, and it is running and seems to be rearing up to fire yet another one of these blasts of cold at the little wind spirits. So, Raven, what are you doing?
Raven is taking a cue from Damien and starts running headfirst towards this creature. Raven is going to charge towards this Bandersnatch, already pulling a card out. She is going to pull the Coyote Spirit.
Ooh. I don't think we've seen that one before.
The Earth Suit is the card for change. She's going to pull this Coyote Spirit, and what she's hoping for is she wants claws. And you said the Bandersnatch has like icy powers?
Anything it touches gets coated in this flash frost and gets very brittle. So yeah, if you're trying to go toe-to-toe with it, you're going to want something that is very quick and, yeah, like a coyote, like a prairie predator.
Yeah. So I think she manifests these gloves with claws, similar to what we've seen the raccoon can give her, but the claws are bigger than the little raccoon ones. And this ruff of fur shows up around her neck, almost like she's wearing a fur vest. So she's got some extra like cold protection from this coyote that's like used to cold weather, doesn't bother them.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, coyotes are survivors. They're scrawny, but they deal with all the elements.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, little coyote. I mean, we got a magical girl transform it a little bit. Do you get some coyote ears, a little bushy tail?
Oh my God.
That's part of the set.
I was trying not to go like kind of a furry, but honestly it works. So
The tail kind of feels mandatory, I'm not gonna lie to you.
she's got a fluffy little tail. Her gloves are like furry.
Sure,
And she's got the little ears. And then yeah, she's got like a little fluffy kind of top on. And looks like a little skater skirt made of fur too. It's like a little fur outfit and a tail. It's adorable. It happens so fast, blink of an eye.
It's adorable, but it's vicious. You're gonna defend these jackalope spirits.
Oh, she's so scary.
The furries will be feasting, but it will be cute.
It's about time, honestly.
It's about damn time.
They need their share. You're welcome, furries. Also, you're welcome, Wendy's family. This is their family. You gotta keep them safe.
Yeah. So just like mid-leap in a flash.
Incredible. All right, if you're gonna go toe-to-toe with this Bandersnatch, I think it's kick some ass. More so than like because we could make you roll to like pick this card, but I love this idea so much. Like, let's just go with that, and I will make you roll kick some ass.
Hell yeah.
Since you are more fighting this thing, we'll use Raven's quick casting to get the power.
Yeah, she's going in for like hand-to-hand combat. This is not.
Yeah.
She's not playing around.
Hell yeah.
This is her baby, her roommate, and her best friend.
Yeah. You know, everyone has a baby best friend roommate.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Listen.
All right. That is. Oh, it's a 1. Okay. So that puts her to 9. Could have been worse.
Ooh, do you want to get some help? Someone could help you out.
Can I?
Amity, Damien?
I'm gonna do it. Let me help out.
Yeah. Magical girl combo.
Yeah, magical girl combo. Let's
Yes.
fucking go.
She's got claws, and she's just running straight towards it.
Okay. Hear me out. So Raven is running just straight at the Bandersnatch. I think Amity's gonna swoop around on her broom staff and just give her like a little lift so that she can go right for the eye.
Ooh.
An aerial drop in.
I love that.
Give her a little boosty boost. Yeah.
This plan as is maybe not gonna work, but if she gets a little boost and a little height, she's got a chance.
Yeah. I mean, the Bandersnatch is long. You're going to definitely need some maneuverability here. So yeah, roll plus roll help out.
All right. That's a 10. And I think I have that as advanced. Wait, let me check that. Do I have that as advanced?
Well, it would only count on a 12, so.
Well, bitch. That's right.
Hey, I'll still take it.
Yeah, 10 is still good.
A +1 gets you the +1 to make your kick some ass. A full success, so you can take a bonus, Raven, as you attack.
Ooh.
Fuck him up. I believe in you, girly.
That's what Amity whispers as she does it.
Listen, here's the thing. I don't think Amity would swear like that. That was a purely Mel thing.
No, I love it. All I heard was the "I believe in you."
No, I went, fucking go get him, girly. I got you. Go get him. That's literally me, though. That is not Amity.
Anyway.
I think because of the help, we're gonna go with you gain the advantage, and I want to give +1 forward to another hunter.
Okay. Raven
will see the peanut buttery mess that is happening over with Damien and the Jub bird, and I don't know, maybe she gets the Bandersnatch to like cry out or scream or something, and that can distract the Jub bird enough to give Damien a little upper hand for a +1.
Honestly, with you and Amity tag teaming, the Bandersnatch or Amity playing support for the both of you, like keeping these two separate is a good thing because the Royal Beasts, like they were sent as a team. They probably have combos they could pull off if they weren't already being forced to divide their attention between your group of multiple people. So just by like becoming a real problem for Bandersnatch, you are helping David have a better opportunity to mess with the bird.
Nice.
It's me. Hi.
So you will exchange some harm. I think you come down as Amity gives you this lift and you are able to dive forward with these long coyote claws. You rake at the spirit mask of the Bandersnatch, but because it is so long, the head like passes you, and a second later, the paw comes by and like rakes up your thigh, digging through some of the fur. You can actually feel like the coyote's protection on you freezing. So that will be 3 harm.
Ouch.
Yeah, as it flash freezes some of your fur protection there.
Yikes.
But yeah, we see you doing all sorts of flips and cartwheels as this little coyote anime girly fights this massive fur worm.
It looks so cool, I promise.
It's so cool. It's very cool. I'm just picturing this thing tying itself in like figure eights, trying to slash at you as you're like leaping around. We hear the like clash of both your claws meeting.
Yeah.
A little bit of frost gets onto your gloves, but then you push past and trail streaks of blood through its brown and white fur.
Yes.
Amazing.
Hell yeah. Do we want to say really quick that like Amity calls out to the group who these guys are? Like, because we can tell they're spirits, but they're attacking us. So like, just so we have it all out on the table, like what's going on and why we're fighting them.
I think we established Amity knows that they are the royal beasts. Looks like the queen found out our plan. These are the royal beasts. Be so careful. Be so very careful.
The crest of diamond on the Jub bird's head glows, and now from the dark storm clouds above, a lightning bolt comes down and strikes the diamond and then is redirected at you, Damien.
Oh, that's rude.
Just an arcing lightning bolt. So take at least 2 harm.
Amity, you're sort of switching between both sides of this fight. Do you want to do something about this right now?
Yeah, now's a good time to help me.
I think it'd be really funny to gunk up the gem on the Jub bird's head.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can't be having this laser beam nonsense. We just can't.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled another 9 plus 3.
Hell yeah.
I swear to God.
You're in the Havens, Amity. This is your magical home turf.
Uh-huh.
What spell are you using against Jub bird?
I think the spell quite literally takes the form of summoning a glue or tacky substance. This is Amity using a combination of things that Nana Margie has taught her, and it's a blend of honey, some type of tree resin, and it makes this big gooey slime ball that I think she kind of like hurls up in the air and then smacks it with her staff like a fucking baseball. Right at Jub bird's little diamond.
Nana Margie loves baseball.
Yeah, and it just goes splat right on the forehead.
Yeah, this thing splats against the Jub bird's crest, drips all over its mask, its face. And I think it might even start to gum up its tail feathers as it whips around trying to scrape this gunk off of itself. And unlike the peanut butter Damien has been trying to restrain it with, this gooey glue can't really be sliced easily by its feathers or talons, and it just ends up getting more and more tangled in this mess the harder it tries to escape. For the moment, the Jub bird is well and truly trapped.
It's a home run. Nana Margie would be proud.
Mm-hmm. Incredible. Now, although it is trapped, the thunderstorm that it called here remains. And without the Jubjub bird using its crystal crest to catch and direct them at specific targets, the lightning bolts are starting to hit the ground here at random.
Oh, no.
And at least one catches the grass and ignites it like a prairie wildfire.
Oh, no.
You see lots of the wind spirits start to fall back and take off in the opposite direction of the quickly oncoming blaze.
No!
Hello, adventurers. Our promo swap this week is with Records of the Realms, a TTRPG actual play collective where stories are told from all across the universe. Let's listen to their trailer.
Welcome, Wanderers, to Records of the Realms, a place where stories are told from all corners of the universe, both remembered and forgotten.
We've had to reweave various cycles.
Oh, we're going to have... oh, no!
We explore those tales through tabletop role-playing games, utilizing various settings and systems to bring different narratives to life, from epic fantasy adventures and sci-fi sagas.
Describe your kill.
I'm going to disenchant you so completely that they won't even be able to use you as a letter opener.
To tense thrillers.
I have found myself in a bit of a predicament.
Sit down. Shut up.
What did you do?
And everything in between.
There's nobody that can do what I do.
What do you mean, weird masks?
We have a story for you to wander into. Our community frames a vibrant mosaic of backgrounds, identities, and experiences, working together to create tales of every kind across numerous tables and campaigns.
Scrap Team Blaster, we're now Team Sugar Parents.
Our storytellers, the record keepers and scriveners, are artisans ready to craft these stained glass stories and bring you into another world with them. Records of the Realms will be on your favorite podcast platform. We invite you to share in our stories. Wander with us.
You can join the Record Keepers live on Twitch, scour the archives of one-shots and mini-campaigns past on their YouTube channel, or catch their long-running D&D campaign wherever you get your podcasts. You might even recognize a handful of storytellers in some of those campaigns. So check them out at twitch.tv/recordsoftherealms or at recordsoftherealms.com. Hello, adventurers. It's been a minute. I missed you too. For all of you who are caught up and listening to this as soon as it comes out, I'm sorry for the delays. The fires in Southern California affected one of our editors. They are okay, their home is okay, but the air quality got so bad that they got sick and it slowed down the production pipeline of this episode. And then on top of that, here is a little peek behind the curtains here at the Storyteller Squad. The squad and I re-recorded a decent chunk of this episode to give certain moments in the story a second try, which was a decision I made whilst editing for the initial publishing date, and that was just not going to happen once I had an extra hour and a half of material to try and fit in. But that being said, I stand by that call. I could just tell we had recorded this session originally on a day I was really tired and not at my best. You can maybe hear a little of that in the beginning. But now this episode is a really amazing and critical portion of this story arc. And it's been one of my favorite to edit in recent memory, too. One of the major benefits of having an edited show is being able to make quality control decisions like that. And while we generally are giving you exactly what happened at the table, sometimes it's just what happened at the table after we all agreed as a group to change something for the sake of the story. We are, after all, a storytelling show, if you can believe the rumors. So it's important to me that we give you all the best version of this story that we can. We are incredibly fortunate that you, our community, are so patient, understanding, and supportive. In some ways, I feel silly even mentioning things like leaving reviews or following our socials in episodes like this 4 years in. If you made it to episode 82, I think maybe you're invested in this series of ours? Maybe? The links for everything are in the episode notes, of course, but mostly this week, I just wanted to say thank you. All of your engagement with our work helps it stand out and get discovered by more listeners, and I've especially enjoyed all of you sharing your insights and feelings in the community Discord.
We had some amazing fan art of Aiden get posted recently, which I love. Thank you so much, Faye, for that. Shelbs' infamously funny episode memes every time we drop something new. There's even someone who I think is binging the episodes for the first time on YouTube and leaving us a comment as they work through each episode. If you make it this far, thank you, Dragonubis PWI. I hope I said your handle right. We really appreciate it, and we hope you're enjoying the backlog. Now, for the future, here is the plan. Episode 83, the conclusion of this story arc, our Folk Courts arc, will be out on February 14th. Then we're taking the last 2 weeks of February off from publishing just to make sure that I have enough time to really polish and complete the work necessary for the premiere of our third Expanded Universe series. Every week in March, there will be a new episode with a new guest cast and a new standalone one-shot adventure. But for all you loyal main campaign listeners, aren't you wondering what Aiden's been getting up to while our beloved heroes have been away in the Havens? You'll want to stay caught up with our guest series to find out what sort of adventures our favorite Angel has gotten herself into. And if you're planning on attending Emerald City Comic-Con, C2E2, or PAX East this year, we would love to see you at those events. Those are our first 3 convention appearances this year, and we would love to meet some of you at any of them. There's even more that we are doing here at TSS to build ourselves up for the best year yet. So again, thank you to all our listeners, patrons, friends, and colleagues. We couldn't keep doing this without you. I mean, I might try. You never know with me. Take care, adventurers. I'll see you next time.
I'm going to need a bigger cookie.
You're about to become peanut butter toast. You're in the easy bake oven of this prairie haven, Damien, fighting with the Jub bird.
Amity, Raven, a little help?
Yeah, I think one of the lightning bolts comes down to try and connect with its crest, but because it's all gummed up, it just sort of strikes the ground near you. There's a loud crack and your ears ring as it sends dirt and grass up into the air.
Okay, consider if I go under the Jub bird, then the lightning can't keep hitting me because the bird's in the way.
Ooh, okay. Act under pressure.
Perfect. And that's a 9.
+1 forward from Raven helping you out, though.
Oh, sweet. That makes it a 10.
Yeah, so how do you avoid getting hit by these lightning bolts?
So Damien is utilizing the smoothness of the peanut butter with the crunch of the cookie so that he has the slide he needs, but also the grip and texture he needs on his hands.
Mm-hmm.
So he focuses all the, grabbable, crunchy cookie bits to his hands so he can climb up the side of the leg and hold on for dear life underneath and hope the bird doesn't sit down. But eggs are fine, so Damien would be fine.
So, all right. I think Jub will go to scrape off some of the gunk that is on its face. Maybe a small bit of its crest peeks through. But Amity did such a good job trapping this thing. I think the lightning just comes down and strikes the back of the Jub bird. It misses its target, and you, with your peanut butter insulation, it won't travel into you, and it'll just ground through the Jub bird's legs, hitting it and sort of stunning it, leaving it dazed as it sort of now wobbles around.
I did confirm that peanut butter does not conduct electricity.
Amazing.
So while I am safe from that, I am not safe from heat and exposure. So he will start rollerblading away.
If peanut butter could form into rollerblades.
Yeah, it's like Frozone.
Okay, yeah. Raven, you are engaged with the Bandersnatch. Mm-hmm. Clang, clang, claws meeting each other. Most of the jackalope spirits have fled. You see Windy and their family members are still taking little pock shots here and there to try and assist you, but they're also looking a little concerned as the blaze on the prairie now is towering up
The wind is catching it and spreading sparks. And like at this point, if you can't get away from these monsters and leave them behind, you're gonna get trapped in like a ring of fire as it starts to consume the plains here.
Can I pull another card?
Yeah.
Should I roll for it this time?
Okay, yeah, we'll make you roll this time.
Okay. That is, oh boy. It's a 7. All right, so I got the earth suit and I rolled a 1. So it's the root powers of earth. I got the earth tortoise.
Okay.
Interesting.
Oh, the earth tortoise is right above the coyote spirit. They're buddies in the deck. Perfect.
Oh gosh, last time you summoned him was in the fight in the subway station, right? And he gave you the like armor of stone.
Oh yeah. Honestly, I think I'd like something similar, but maybe with a shield. I do kind of like the idea of having it like form from the ground she's standing on and give her some extra protection.
You pull another card. It's the middle of a fight. You kind of just have to grab one you can get out really quickly. And you pull this tortoise, who is generally a good card to pull. He's one of the more powerful spirits in your deck, but you know, it does usually take him a little while to warm up. And you don't have a lot of time right now, Raven.
Yeah.
But you're in the Havens. And so you hear a rumbling as he says, "Look out there, young lady." And Bandersnatch, as it's swiping at you with one of its claws, just gets uppercut by like a jutting pillar of earth.
Oh.
Very quickly, a tortoise shell amalgamation of stone forms in front of you from just like the loose shale and pebbles on the ground and catches the Bandersnatch under the jaw and sends it sort of like spiraling back, growling and hissing, just like... You see a spectral version of the earth tortoise grow up out of the dirt here and look back at you, and he says, "I can cover your retreat."
That was fast.
This is the Havens. He's able to get here much quicker than the human realm.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Once again, the rocks on the ground leap into position. These shields are sort of appearing where needed to deflect attacks on you for a second here to let you gather a plan. You can work together with him to try and like get Bandersnatch TKO'd the way Jub is.
Yeah. She's a little taken off guard that he's here so quickly. She was already coming up with plan C and plan D and plan E in the meantime while he got here. Raven will look down on where she's standing at the earth that's all disturbed from where the tortoise had burst out of it. See how her feet are sinking in a little bit in like the soft dirt. And she's gonna look at the earth tortoise and say, "Do you think you could turn this into like quicksand and we'll trap this guy?"
I think this is the first time he has seemed very alert and like has a little pep in his tortoise step.
Yay!
There's a little twinkle in his eye and he says, "So creative, young druid. Very well." And you see he just sort of like vibrates and descends back down into the ground.
Raven will step onto his back as he's sinking so that she's not standing in what's about to be quicksand. So if he sinks down to like just below the ground, she is standing firmly on his shell.
Oh, I love that. He becomes like a little island for you here.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that way she can be the bait for the Bandersnatch to come close enough to get stuck.
Okay.
And she'll like square up at it again with her fists up to try and...
Yeah, roll use magic and we'll see if you and the tortoise can trap Bandersnatch here for a little bit.
Amazing. Okay. That's a 12.
Fuck yeah.
Yes.
And I have advanced.
Sweet.
Yes.
Sweet. Making quicksand with my slow tortoise friend.
Okay. All right. I had a thing planned. That's great.
Thank you, Dice. They've been very kind to us.
All right. The Bandersnatch goes to come back around at you. It almost is like passing through its own body. It's so long and slinky, it can like make those kinds of maneuvers without getting knotted up. But as it goes to make one swipe at you atop the tortoise's back, it like misses because it comes a little bit shorter than it meant to with its lunge. And we look back at its hind legs so far back, but, you know, within the range of this spell you and the tortoise are doing, and that back paw is starting to sink into a murky, churned up bit of the mud and dirt here as
all the grass the Bandersnatch froze is now unable to provide root support for the ground here.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it starts to sink its back feet first, and then as it tries to scramble at the ground in front of it to get traction, those paws start to sink. And now it is just this writhing, churning noodle getting all muddy and stuck up here in the ground.
Well, when you describe it as a noodle, now I feel kind of bad.
I mean, if it wasn't a vicious beast trying to apprehend you and your friends, it would be this cute autumnal ferret monster. But,
Aww.
He's grumpy.
Yeah. This is the queen's pet. She sent him after you.
Poor guy.
But with a 12, you get something bonus on your magic.
That's right.
Raven, your adrenaline is up. The energy of this fight has been so fast. These are very fast enemies that were sent after you because they are pursuers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you haven't been able to really take stock of in the moment sensations. It's all just react. And I think now that you've got Bandersnatch at least held down for the moment, you feel in your hand the card that you'd drawn for the Earth Tortoise, and you realize that you actually drew a few other cards with it.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of grabbed everything that was in one of your quick draw pockets at once.
Mm-hmm.
What do?
Look and see what the other cards I drew are.
You pull the Knight of Swords.
Which one is that?
This is one of the face cards of the air suit in your deck. But there's something odd about it, Raven, because it's Windy's card. And that was not the case always. The Jackalope card in your deck used to be the Two of Swords. But Brittany, go ahead and look at your spirit deck list.
Oh. First of all, how did I miss this? I've been in this document and did not notice it was different. Oh my god. I got Windy's parents.
Oh!
Yes. You see that you have also drawn two more of the face cards from this suit. The King and Queen of Air. And their artwork is also slowly changing as silver magic rises up over them. As you glance over your shoulder, you see Windy and the Wolpertinger and the Skvader are intently watching you fight and defend their clan of spirits here on the plains. They all start to glow with this silver magic. The cards in your deck are being changed by this dynamic relationship you have formed with Windy's family and this group of jackalope spirits.
Girl, what?
Whoa.
That's right as fuck.
Oh, dude, that's so cute.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
That's so cute. Did you say that Windy's card changes too? They get a little upgrade?
Yeah, Windy's card used to be the Two of Swords, the peace card in the air suit. So they have traded places with the Falcon to become your knight, the Jackalope of your air suit.
Oh. Man, what the fuck?
It's Windy's all the way down.
Oops, all Windy's.
So the bonus I'm giving you, aside from this very fun little connection to these spirits, is that all three of them, thanks to the surge of magic here as this connection is formed, grow to the size of horses.
Oh.
Girl, what?
Just these massive jackalope spirits, and they all rush over to your friends. Windy will run up to you, angle their back, lower their quills down so they won't poke you. And if you want, you can leap onto their back.
Holy shit. Absolutely. After a moment of stunned silence, she will so excitedly jump on Windy's back.
Amity, the Skvader, will flutter over. They're big, massive wings now, but they land, paw a couple times at the ground, scoops their head up under your feet and sort of knocks you back onto their back.
Oh, thank you.
And Damien, you feel the two pointy teeth of the Wolpertinger just grab you by the back of the collar.
I just get scruffed.
Yep, you get scruffed and then flipped up and onto their back, and all three of you take off down the plains on the backs of these wind spirits, leaving your pursuers trapped until they can get themselves free.
Oh, hell yeah. Our steeds.
These are fucking wild.
They go so fast it blows all the crap off of Damien.
Yeah, your peanut butter is left behind.
Yeah, please clean up that poor boy.
The peanut butter just flakes off.
Who knows? Maybe Wolpertingers like peanut butter treats.
Oh my god.
And you'll remember you gathered a bunch of ingredients here since Wendy's family went out and helped gather a bunch of the stuff you need.
Oh my god. Amazing.
Thank you, Wendy's family.
So you have quite a bit of the ingredients on the list. This list is too long to gather everything, but you got a bunch of stuff.
And our very first ingredient was advice telling us that we might not need all of them.
That's true.
So funny. You're right.
Raven makes sure to give Giant Wendy a big hug while she's up there. Because this is the coolest thing ever.
You run for a while on the backs of Wendy and their parents, and the terrain around you shifts. You leave this plains haven and end up bounding through an ancient coastal forest between the trunks of massive, monumental trees, bigger than anything from the human realm. And riding on top of these massive rabbits, you feel incredibly small, even though you don't feel like your size has changed. I don't think we're gonna have time for tiny plot in this session, but there you go. We did it.
So itty bitty.
Itty bitty, by comparison.
Wee. Your woods got nothing on this forest.
You end up in another haven, this time splashing along a beach, wind and waves spraying you with salty sea air. You fly over frozen tundra and feel the chill of a snowy haven catch your breath. More and more and more biomes as you race through until finally you reach the edge of a wide expanse of white sand, a barren, lonely-looking desert. It seems not all parts of the haven are lush and overgrown after all. Now that you've come so far from their home of the prairie, Wendy and the other spirits slow to a stop and indicate for you all to get off. Raven's magic has run its course, and they all shrink back down to their normal size, but you're definitely in the clear for now.
Amity says to the jackalope spirits, wow, that was really helpful. Thank you, everyone. And I think pulls out nuts and seeds and berries from her bag and just scatters them amongst them, just gives them all a little treat as much as she can.
They collect a bunch of them.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Where are we? She just kind of takes a moment to survey their surroundings. Are we by chance anywhere close to where the Jabberwock might be?
Why don't you roll Investigate a Mystery to try and figure out if you actually know where to seek one out?
That was not good. Does anyone want to help me out? Because right now, I'm at a 4. Which one of you can get me to a 12? Right? Isn't that the advanced thing?
I have 2 cool. Durs, what do you have?
2 cool.
I do have it as advanced if I roll high enough.
Roll a 12. Roll a 12, Brittany, no pressure.
Well, let's see. I rolled an 11.
God damn it.
So close. Never thought I'd be disappointed by an 11.
So if I help Raven, then that gets Raven to 12. So
Team effort. Team effort.
I'll allow it. Go for it.
I mean, if it's bad, then it's bad for everybody. Oh, no, that's not helpful. Sorry.
Okay.
I mean, if it's bad enough, we still find the Jabberwock. It just doesn't go well.
It probably finds us before we find it.
Yeah, that's a 5. That Jabberwocky has found my ass.
Oh, no.
So Raven still helps out Amity, but only bumps it up by 1.
Correct.
To a whole 5. So I get to mark experience.
Ooh.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
This went so bad so quickly.
Yeah, it did. It really did.
We could also do the alt rules, and I get to still ask you a general question. You get to answer it as you wish, and regardless of the question and answer, something bad happens.
I think, Amity,
I'm so scared.
you don't know where to find a Jabberwock.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that as weird as time can get, you're probably running out of it in order to help Hugo. And so...
Do we have to summon the Jabberwocky?
Yes. If you want this ingredient, you are going to have to get this creature to come to you, which means another potential third creature pursuing you.
Yep.
I think you can see on the horizon, even of this desert, the storm clouds moving ever closer.
God damn it. This might be another instance to phone a friend. Amity is going to send a message to Merlin. Hey, quick question for you. What's the best way to attract a Jabberwocky to your location?
Merlin replies, well, if you had a Vorpal sword, Jabberwocky are known to seek those out.
A Vorpal sword. That sounds really rare and uncommon. I can't just, pick that up from a local shop, right?
Yeah, generally not.
Uh-huh. I don't suppose you have a Vorpal sword you could lend me.
Hold on a second.
What the fuck? What? What do you mean, hold on a second?
We cut to Merlin at the cottage. At this point, there is a roaring fire beneath the cauldron. Gilly is running around the base of it, just tossing different powders into the flame, and little bursts of color are sparking and lighting up. And Merlin walks over and calls to Anna Margie. Hey, Margie. Ah, what do you want? We got a good boil going. What's wrong? You have a Vorpal sword?
Oh my fucking god.
She says, maybe? Hold on one second. She floats down to her dunking cup, goes over to her little rucksack, which is sitting on the ground, and calls inside, Blueberry! Do we have a Vorpal sword in there somewhere?
Oh my fucking god.
Fluttering, sounds of crashing from within the bag.
We gave it to a vampire.
Oh man, God, Thirst, you keep throwing good ideas out.
Do it, you won't. Sword of Damocles is a Vorpal blade.
That's pretty good.
Do we just summon Whittaker to us?
Oh no.
I could technically do it.
Yeah, you could. All right. No, that's fun. That's great.
Is that not what Damocles is? Is that okay?
Do you want to leave court, Emery? How committed are you to being the one to ask questions in court?
I don't know. Maybe we'll just leave this to Hugo and Kabe. Fuck, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. Okay. Sure.
Okay.
If you want to do it, I think that'd be rad as hell, and I would yes and that crazy hard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, here's what we say. Nana Margie pokes her head out of the bag, and she says, I don't think we have one anymore. I feel like I gave it to a vampire one time. He loved that thing. You chose him. Merlin says, okay, I'll let him know. They send a message, Amity, and they say, sounds like Nana Margie had one, but she ended up giving it to a vampire. So, sounds like you're out of luck.
To a vampire? And Amity just has this stumped look on her face because she has to think about it for a second. I think she just starts thinking about it out loud. Where in the hell are we gonna get a Vorpal sword?
Did you say a vampire?
Yeah, I was asking Merlin if he had a Vorpal sword because apparently Jabberwocks really like Vorpal swords. And he said that Nana Margie had one, but she gave it to a vampire.
What are the chances?
What are the odds?
Right? We have to try.
I hope Whittaker doesn't get too mad at me for this. Actually, I have a logistical question that was posed in the F chat. Emery posited to just summon the sword rather than Whittaker.
You could.
Yeah, Whittaker doesn't have to leave. It's known to travel distances.
I mean, Anya sent you a ring and an amulet.
It would just come back to him like Mjolnir.
Just call him up Whittaker, can we borrow?
Yeah.
If you just think really hard about sending it to us, maybe it'll just fly over.
Yeah, literally, that's what happens next. Amity does another sending message to Whittaker. Hi, sorry, me again.
Jesus.
Can I borrow your sword?
The sword?
The sword that you got from Elias EC. Is that a Vorpal sword? Do you know?
The fuck is a Vorpal sword?
I don't know. Can I borrow your sword?
I
promise I'll get it back to you. It's magic, right? If you think really, really hard, you might be able to send it to me.
Hold on, I gotta step out of the corner. Give me a second.
Get into a hallway.
You want me to send it to you?
Yes.
All right.
Because it's magic, right? Things are possible in the Havens. You could just try.
Whittaker, Anya, sitting outside the courtroom on a bench nearby, says, is that everyone else?
Oh, Whittaker points at his non-existent earpiece. On the whatever this is. Yes. Yeah.
How are they doing?
How you doing?
We got chased by the royal beasts, so we're doing okay.
They're doing great. Sorry, Anya, I don't mean to. I'm trying to figure out how to. And he takes the sword out of his suitcase. Yeah, I think he takes it out and tries to because he's been trying to do the summoning thing for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I know you're not the biggest fan of soaring to me when I need it, but could you go maybe go to Amity? Could you go to Amity? He like holds it up like a dowsing rod. Go on.
Go on, boy.
Come on.
Anya stands.
I'm so sorry you have to see me like this, princess.
she parts her guards and she says, "Do they need that?"
Yeah, they do. Do you have like someone I could send it with?
She runs her fingers along the sheath of the blade and she says, "You have to know the words." And Anya says a phrase in Elvish.
While Amity
Oh, damn. Okay.
And the sword starts to glow, that same warm orange that her amulet did. And she says quietly, "Best of luck, Amity." And the sword flies out of the nearest window and off into the havens.
Thanks, bestie.
Damn, you have to teach me that someday, Your Highness. Thank you. Amity, swords inbound. Watch your heads. Hurry back.
Into the sand, a sheathed sword of Damocles arrives via Anya's spell.
Whoa.
Amity just goes, "Holy shit!" and then quickly sends a message to Whittaker. "Thanks, Whittaker."
Wow. Damocles was a Vorpal weapon? I never would have put that together. Good job, guys.
Fuck you. I'm sorry.
How could this have happened?
Gee.
Who knew?
Wowee.
God, this whole fucking arc is full of narrative convenience. You know how hard it is to run a court case as a D&D game?
You're doing great, kid.
Listen.
All right, here we go. Cut this.
Amity's gonna go and pick up the sword. Oh. Hey, Damien, you wanna do the honors? You wanna unsheath this, bud?
Oh, fuck yes. I want to use the sword. Yes.
I got this whole staff situation, so
I mean, you got the ring the last time they sent us stuff. So yeah, I'll take the sword this time. And then Raven, the next thing that gets sent over, you can have.
I just picture somewhere in the courtroom, Whittaker suddenly is like, I hope my sword's okay.
Sorry, Amity, the last thing you hear from Whittaker is, "Don't let Damien use it."
Oops.
He doesn't need to know.
It'll be our little secret.
You draw the blade?
Oh yeah, we draw Damocles.
You draw the sword. It shimmers in this desert sun. And as it catches the light, you hear sort of a low rumble.
Damien motions for everyone to take a step back.
It's not the thunder of the approaching storm caused by the Jub and Bandersnatch. It's more like canvas fluttering in the wind. You hear far away at first and getting louder and louder, voice saying, "Beware the Jabberwock, they say. The jaws that bite, their claws that catch." And Damien, you are snatched up by a dark and fluttering shape, swooping in very suddenly.
Oh, shit.
A creature carried aloft by these massive dark wings rises up into the air with you, clutched in the talons of one of its long, wiry limbs. From the ground, the two of you left behind can see a long neck leading up to a spiky and horned head. Spines that jut in all directions trail down this creature's back, all the way to the tip of a long and lashing tail that ends in a forked horn or stinger of some kind. And so you are effortlessly lifted into the air and taken away as this creature just flies off into the desert.
Raven, come on! And Amity starts going broom style on her staff and just pulls Raven along with her.
Oh yeah, she's with you.
They're just zipping off after them.
Windy turns and gives their parents a hug and then leaps off into the sand to catch up with you. Once again, we return to Savenweald and the court. Miranda Rashad has taken the witness stand. Hugo and Whittaker, what do you do?
Surely Whittaker's come back in by now, right?
Yeah, I think Whittaker's come back in. I just don't, I did not have anything prepared for Miranda.
We could say that Whittaker was pulled away after he finished questioning Heather Springer.
Did Hugo's mom know about the original engagement?
Nope. Because if she had, then the entire thing of not being remembered and stuff wouldn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Miranda Rashad is best used as, if we want to establish Hugo as a kind person who works at a community center.
Then doesn't lie to his mom.
And doesn't lie to his mom, usually, most of the time. I will say, I really liked the idea of Miranda Rashad being someone who, like, since she was the person to send Hugo to Seattle, that would be, like, good enough proof that Hugo wasn't going there to see Carla and talk to her about, like, he wasn't going there because of Carla, and he wasn't going there because he was in charge of the stone operation. But the problem is she doesn't even remember that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like...
But do we know that she did that, like, under someone else's influence?
We do. We confirmed that she did that under Drake Fowler's influence and doesn't remember it.
So we might be able to try to bring that up of, like, did you tell Hugo to go there? And then she'll be like, well, no, I never said that. Like, well, we know that you said it.
Oh,
you were...
She might have the memory.
Ooh.
The memory might still be there, even if she can't access it.
That's true. Because it wasn't like Fowler shapeshifted as her or anything. It was her. Yeah, the memory might still be in there.
Oh, all right. Hold on. We can assess that.
In character.
In character.
Yeah.
As Miranda is taking the stand, Whittaker leans over to Kabe. Miranda Rashad has evidence that Hugo went to Seattle to help a community and had nothing to do with the stone operation, at least not in the sense that he was in charge of it. However, I'm not sure if her memory of sending him there is intact. She did it under someone else's influence. Is that something you could check on for us?
Her memory, in that case, is likely held by the person whose influence she was under. I could broker a purchase, but it will obviously cost something. Who do you suspect has the memory?
Drake Fowler.
Then it is likely to be expensive.
Well, could just call Drake Fowler as a witness and get him to testify.
No, we can't do that. The only way this works is by distancing you from him, so it's clear you were sent via deception and not under his direct orders. If the court starts to suspect the latter, then we're fucked, regardless of whether it's true or not.
You are starting to understand the game at play here, Mr. Whittaker.
Oh, piss off. What would it cost?
Another memory. Perhaps a few.
Any memory?
The more valuable the memory, the higher my chances are of striking a deal.
Does it have to be Miranda's?
No, but I will warn you. Fowler and I already enjoyed a contentious relationship as competitors in the same market, and that was before Hugo and I took to personally disrupting his operations in Portland.
Whittaker looks at Hugo. He doesn't know that, right? Your vigilante work is a secret.
Well, no. I made some bad decisions at the Deep.
Didn't we all?
It will make negotiations for the memory difficult, but not impossible. I can be very persuasive, and Fowler is not one to pass up a chance to profit on an investment. But the question remains, is this memory worth the price he will try and ask for it? Unlike the debts I have allowed you to pay off, Hugo Rashad, you are unlikely to ever get something back once it is traded to Drake Fowler.
Oh no, it's memory crypto.
My favorite kind.
The Queen calls to your group as the three of you are huddled here deliberating.
Defense, you have called a witness. Do you intend to question her?
Set up the deal. Whatever it is, I'll pay for it.
What? No way. Whittaker, I should...
Hugo, you realize what you'd be risking. This whole fucking case won't be worth a damn if you come out of this and don't even remember who Anya is for the second time. Kabe, make it happen. It's on me. I promise, or whatever. Just get it done. And Whittaker stands up to begin questioning Miranda, so you're all turned into goats or whatever.
Fuck, dude.
Okay.
Amazing.
Dark gray lavender runes quickly flash between Whittaker and Kabe, and as you get up to begin questioning Miranda, Kabe's eyes go white again as he attempts his particular form of magical brokering to acquire this appropriate memory from Fowler.
Oh, shit.
Yes, get him.
Motherfucker.
Beautiful.
I'm not nervous. This is fine. This is so fine. This is fine. Ah!
Miranda Rashad, what is your relationship to the defendant?
I'm his mother.
Hugo works for a community center in Portland, the city in which you also work. What do you understand his role in that community center to be?
Hugo is in charge of the books and scheduling the programs that he and his team put on there. They work together to develop a amount of programming to serve the needs of the community.
From what you know of this, do you think he is successful at that work and at handling those responsibilities?
She says, I hear nothing but good things about the work he and his friends are doing there at meetings with members of City Council. So yes, I think he's doing a good job. And I think what he's doing there is actually quite important for our city.
Why do you think that?
A community needs reasons to come together. It gives them a chance to meet their neighbors and build bonds with one another. It's the work of making a community in the first place, so that they can weather difficult times and stick together against anything that threatens them.
What sorts of things might be threatening them, Miss Rashad?
Crime, intimidation, oppression from those in power, people who think they deserve more than their fair share.
People like Jonathan King or Drake Fowler, perhaps?
There are whispers and cries of alarm as Drake Fowler's name is mentioned once again. Miranda says, yes, exactly like them, Mr. Whittaker.
Mrs. Rashad, would you be able to describe the actions Drake Fowler has taken against communities served by the Whispered Community Center?
There is no legal evidence in the human realm to support these claims, but it is well known. Mr. Fowler runs an intimidation racket. He has protection schemes and other means of extorting bribery and profits from local businesses and community members. He also targets and preys upon folk citizens who have been conscripted into deals or promises they would not otherwise make, and to say nothing of the amount of property damage that has been attributed, though not concretely or conclusively, to known employees of Mr. Fowler.
Could you speak as to why Mr. Fowler is so able to blatantly target the folk citizens of Portland?
She sucks a breath through her teeth, noting that she is directly speaking to a member of the agency, but she says, it's a difficult situation. Mundane law enforcement does not have the training to properly trace, detain, or subdue the beings working for Mr. Fowler, but because, for the most part, his employees perform their criminal activity via mundane methods, their actions are below the level of impact that would spark agency involvement, which means no official group is protecting the magical communities of the city.
Do you mean to imply there's a source of unofficial protection?
Miranda looks at Hugo before answering, but she meets your gaze and says, yes, my son and those of his staff who bear certain markings use the abilities granted to them in order to intervene and prevent, when possible, the activities of people like Mr. Fowler and Mr. King and the cowards who work for them. She laughs here, sort of unprompted, and says, thank you, Mr. Whittaker. I've wanted to say that for some time and never had the platform.
Girl.
Mrs. Rashad, given your testimony, would you say that Hugo's leadership of the Whispered, specifically the group in Portland, has left a positive impact on the communities there?
Yes. I'm proud of the work Hugo does for his community. Magical and mundane.
Thank you, Mrs. Rashad.
Whittaker, you suddenly feel a pain in your head.
Oh, shit.
No.
Is that so?
No. Why is that?
What did he lose? I gotta know. What did he lose? I'm so afraid.
Emery, what important, formative, or defining memory does Whittaker give up in order for Kabe to secure the memory of Miranda's that you need for this case?
All right. That is a very good question.
Yup. You said you'd pay it, whatever it was.
Hurt us. Hurt our feelings. Let's go.
Good luck.
We see Whittaker, standing on the edge of an empty back road, trees on either side. It's daytime. He's shading his eyes and looking out at something in the distance. From what we can see, it's probably not a recent memory. His hair is still mostly gray, but it's short, cropped close to the head, and his facial hair is a little different. We hear the spluttering drone of a motorcycle approaching way too fast, and a helmeted figure in a leather jacket goes careening by Whittaker, cackling like a madman, and sending him swearing and chasing after the motorcycle for a few meters before giving up. The bike slows down a bit, makes an awkward U-turn that fully steers the biker into the gravel off the side of the road. They skid and do a messy dismount before the motorcycle plummets into a ditch in the woods. Whittaker grumbles something under his breath and runs to check on them and retrieve the bike. Jesus Christ, that is way faster than I told you to go. That bike's older than you are, Alonzo. Stop treating it like a sports car.
Huh?
I cannot bloody believe you.
What?
The biker pops back up and takes off their helmet. Underneath is a young man with poorly trimmed auburn hair and a face flushed with adrenaline.
Is that his dad?
It's fine. The bike's fine. The bushes caught it.
Daddy!
They look down at the helmet, which now has a long crack in the ink black visor. Young Lonnie, staring at his dark reflection in the visor, before looking back at his father, Louis Whittaker.
Papa?
You can fix it, right? Louis Whittaker strides up beside his son, and they both look down at the motorcycle tangled in the undergrowth. Yeah, but you're gonna help me. Right, yeah. Sorry, Dad. Lonnie's dad grumbles something that sounds like, I'm just glad you're okay, and helps him pull the bike from the bushes, before the two of them wheel it back to the garage.
This one memory of an interaction with Louis Whittaker starts to fade.
Oh.
Not all of it, but who was it that taught you to ride a motorcycle? Someone you can't place their face in your mind anymore.
Ooh.
Oh, fuck.
Another memory of holidays with the family. Your mom, your cousins. There's other people there, but...
No.
You remember traveling with a ranger in a forest in the UK. He shows you a lot of important places, but God, you don't even remember his badge number.
Oh my God.
Must have just been someone you were working with. Whittaker, what you perceive in this moment is none of these memories. In fact, you don't even really think of them, and you might not for days following this, but they will feel incomplete if you do. Blood trickles down your nose, and you suddenly have a splitting headache. You feel a hand on your shoulder, and we see Kabe standing there, steadying you. He has his eyes closed and is holding a bright, shining memory mote in his hand. You can hear his voice in your head through the ringing pain. The cost was high, Mr. Whittaker. Do you want to know what you lost?
Oh, God. Whittaker looks to Hugo. Do I?
Hugo's gonna pause for a moment, looking down at the ground, thinking about it. He's gonna look back to Whittaker and shake his head slowly. No, not yet.
What?
Whittaker takes his handkerchief, wipes his nose, and then wipes these, inexplicable tears that have formed in the corner of his eyes.
Oh.
No, I'm all right. We've got a case to focus on.
Very well. I am sorry. Take a seat. Hugo and I will finish questioning Mrs. Rashad.
Yeah. Whittaker will sit down.
And Hugo will stand to take over.
Oh, this hurts. Oh, this hurts so much. I'm in pain. Oh.
Mrs. Rashad, do you recall my recent travel to Seattle?
Yes, and I forgive you for not telling me you'd be out of town for a while.
Yeah, see, I thought you had sent me there.
I think I would remember doing that.
You would think. And yet, I would like to submit this memory into evidence, which suggests otherwise.
We see Kabe, that memory in his fist. He lifts it aloft and displays it to the court, and As the memory moat expands, we see the scene of Miranda convincing Hugo to go to Seattle in order to help Carla Hernandez and her people. When it ends, the moat returns to Kabe's hand, and he looks to you, Hugo, then to your mom.
Mrs. Rashad, would you agree that this memory is yours?
I suppose, but I don't recall any of that, other than having just watched it.
The court will note Miranda Rashad does not possess this memory, because until quite recently it was in the possession of Drake Fowler.
The defense has reason to believe, given what Mr. Springleaf attested to earlier, that Mr. Rashad was coerced or tricked into a contract with Mr. Fowler, and under his influence during the time of this memory.
Proving Hugo Rashad's actual motivations for being in Seattle at the time he was observed by Mr. Springleaf was in answering a request from his mother, who had been manipulated by Drake Fowler into making said request. Your witness, prosecution.
Hell yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Whew, that was a lot.
Wow.
Love you guys.
Y'all check in. Are we good?
Are we good?
I think we're good.
Damn.
Natalie, that hurt.
It hurts so good.
That hurt a lot.
Honestly, that was lawful neutral.
More like lawful painful. Jesus. Fuck, man. Ooh.
Once you guys turn over questioning to Jay, he will approach Miranda on the stand and says, Mrs. Rashad, what is your role in the city of Portland? I'm the CPA. I help to adjudicate and mediate disagreements between the mundane and paranormal citizens. And as such, you work with that city's government. Yes. Are there laws against vigilantism in the city of Portland? Yes. And anyone found to be guilty of that would be subject to legal proceedings in the mundane world, yes? If there were enough evidence to mount a case towards them. And anyone aware of such activities would also be called into question? Potentially.
Are we all getting arrested because you called her in as a witness?
You could arrest a lot of people after this trial.
He says, is it a habit of your family to keep secrets, Mrs. Rashad?
Objection, rude.
She says, only the ones worth keeping. No further questions. And with that, it is time for you to select another witness.
Ooh, I think Whittaker's been able to pull himself together a little, and he meets Hugo's gaze. We can't wait anymore.
No, we can't. It's time.
The defense calls to the stand Anya of the Summer Court.
The doors swing open. Anya is processed in again by the guards, and she takes the stand.
Princess Anya, would you like to describe how you met Hugo Rashad?
We first met on the campus of his college. This was several years ago in the human realm. I was visiting to explore what that experience is like. And we bumped into each other, but he was very polite, and I invited him to come to a show.
To be clear, you invited him.
Yes.
Did he agree?
Did he?
Did he?
After some slight hesitation, yeah, he did.
Yes, he did. He seemed confused that someone would invite him to something like that.
When was Hugo Rashad made aware of who you were in regards to the Fae Courts?
We had been seeing each other for a few months, and you see her cheeks with the metallic freckles get a little rosy, and she says, I thought if I was serious about pursuing something, I should be honest about what I was, who I was. So I told him.
How did he react?
How did you react, Hugo?
Yeah, I guess these are also a day questions.
Yeah, I don't want to decide all the lore and backstory.
Initially, he did not believe her. It took a little bit of convincing. First, he didn't believe the magic part, then he didn't believe the lineage stuff. There was a lot of mind-blowing, essentially.
It took some convincing. I had to get very explicit and share more secrets about the nature of the world than most humans were ready to accept at the time. But I couldn't keep the truth from him. I wanted him to trust me completely, and I think eventually he did.
After he was convinced of who you were, did his demeanor towards you change at all?
Yes, he opened up more, and so did I.
Did he ever pressure you to reveal secrets about yourself?
No, because there were no secrets between us.
It's familiar. Whittaker nods.
Having a secret we could share was exciting, and it made moments when we were alone that much more special.
Hugo, you can be asking Anya questions too, technically. You're still part of the defense.
Yeah, Hugo, if you want to...
So, on the one hand, that would make perfect sense. From a game standpoint, yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, but from like an emotional standpoint?
From an emotional standpoint, he still can't.
Yeah, how does Hugo look right now?
Assuming that we are maintaining that his mom is in the room.
Yeah, she didn't leave. I think when she was dismissed, she just sort of like walked over immediately to take a seat next to the defense.
He keeps looking back at his mom, trying to gauge her reactions to all of this.
Miranda is tense, occasionally just like observing the room and the setting with some like wonder she can't contain, and seems like she's trying to process a lot at once. She's still not even entirely clear on like how much trouble you are in, but it seems very serious, so she is very concerned.
That tracks.
I forget if this is no knowledge. Do we know who proposed to who? Because that was going to be a question on my list. And if the answer is Hugo, I don't know if that feels incriminating in terms of the stealing of the princess's heart.
I feel like we had always agreed to leave it ambiguous.
Okay.
As like a point of narrative fun.
Yeah, all right. I'll leave it alone then. I think we'll just cut straight to Princess Anya. Do you believe that Hugo Rashad stole your heart?
No. In fact, I don't think he would be capable of doing so.
Ooh, bitch! Ooh, she just said skill issue.
Everyone in the court sits up when she says that.
I don't know whether to leave it there or elaborate on that, because that is such a nice little...
Go for it. Go for it.
Go, push on it, it's fine.
Keep going.
Would you care to elaborate on that?
You cannot steal something which is freely given.
There it is.
Yeah. This is so fucking sweet. I love, guys. It's fine.
It's cute.
Yeah.
Well, now we... Is there anything else I could possibly say other than I rest my case?
You can be done. I still have to have Jay come in and cross-examine, and we have to check back in with the other team.
Yeah, let's leave it at that. That was a delightful little stop.
Cool. I like it.
She's your witness.
Jay approaches and he says, Highness, I feel I have already questioned you sufficiently and significantly in the first portion of this trial. I will simply follow up with, you say you freely have given your heart to Mr. Hugo Rashad. Yes, I did. Is it fair to say that that was during your first courtship? Yes. And by the terms of your sister's agreement with Hugo Rashad, you are now in a second attempt at this relationship. Yes. Is there a possibility that in this second relationship, his intentions may not have been genuine? As testimony has illustrated, Hugo Rashad is now a respected, well-connected, and loyal leader of a whispered group. So I would ask, can you be confident that after he was informed of your status and the nature of your former connection to him, that you have not been manipulated by him to further some other agenda? I would like not to believe that. And Jay, his whole body seems to ripple and shimmer for a moment. His tone shifts and grows very stern. The question is not what you would like to believe, but whether you do believe it, Princess.
Okay, yeah, no. Sorry, I wasn't sure I understood exactly what was being asked.
I literally came up with that loophole argument just now. It may not make sense, but I think it does.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It makes perfect sense.
Jay's argument as a cross-examination prosecutor is saying that, like, yes, okay, if you're saying you freely gave it to him the first time, can you be sure it was freely given the second time?
Objection, double jeopardy. That's not how that works.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how to phrase that as a proper objection other than objection, nuh-uh.
Objection, come on!
Objection, oh man.
Anya, looking a bit shaken, still hasn't said anything. And Jay remains staring at her intensely, waiting for an answer. There's something about the way he posed his last question that is almost beseeching, begging her to stand up for herself and her feelings in this trial. He's posed the initial question, yes, but the real question he's just asked is, what does Anya believe about the nature of her and Hugo's relationship? He's subtly offered her a second chance at defining her stance on this matter. She takes a deep breath, looks briefly over at Hugo, and we see as she exhales, she unclenches her fists and her shoulders relax slightly. I know Hugo Rashad, and he would never hurt me or manipulate me in any way. What we feel for each other is real. This I know. And her words silence the court. We will cut away to Amity and Raven as you fly across a desert, a storm, and two royal beasts at your heels, and your friend Damien in the clutches of a massive monster several yards ahead. You are now coming to the edge of this desert and entering a more rocky, sand-strewn landscape. Everything here is tones of gray, and while there is cloud cover, it is the type that sort of just whites out the sky versus having shapes to it. There's just a very diffused light everywhere here in this haven. Damien, do you think you want to try and escape the clutches of this creature?
Pull a tooth! Pull a tooth!
Oh, I don't know. This is front row seats, the free tickets. I don't know if I want to get out of this. No, I can try to escape. I was imagining if Damien has a free hand, he might be opening up some hot sauce packets and getting that started.
Okay. Yeah. You want to just attack this thing?
Yeah. Use some magic. 10 on the dice. And my weird is +3. So that's a 13.
Hell yeah.
So my 3 harm, fire, rote.
You fire breath the creature that has grabbed you, and you hear in a booming voice, 1, 2, 1, 2, and through. The vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head, he went galumphing back. And you are dropped and go sailing down towards this rocky terrain as the creature wants to distance itself from you and your fiery attack.
I would like to have Amity use magic to stop Damien from falling.
He's gonna break a bone.
Yeah. I guess, is that a protect someone? Or
Yeah.
it's not great. It is a 9. On a 7+, protect them okay, but you'll suffer some or all the harm they were going to get.
You fly forward and catch Damien on your staff, and you all go crashing into the rocks.
That's fair enough, yeah.
I don't know if I like how that sentence ended.
I was originally trying to use magic to, like, catch him, but yeah, we'll go with that.
I mean, you don't have a lot of time to cast a spell at this moment. Like, he's literally being dropped from a height, and then gravity is accelerating him towards the ground.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
know, this is fine, and it's delightful. Let's go with this. I'm just being a little shit.
You all crash into a pile. You know, your magic definitely cushions the blow it would have been for you all. It was probably going to be 2 harm to fall that far. So everybody take 1. If you have armor, I guess it protects you.
Okay.
So Damien, you get caught, and you all just crumple into a pile And we see this creature swoop down onto the ground, scrape its wing against the rocks to smother the flame and put it out. And then it kind of limps and crawls into this dark cave where there's some scraggly looking trees and brush surrounding it. And we hear sort of a wail and moan.
And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes aflame came whiffling through the tulgey wood and burbled as it came.
What the hell was that?
I mean, we don't actually have to kill it. We really just need the one tooth.
I didn't think it could talk.
I wasn't expecting that either. So, Damien, can we put the sword away? And Amity's gonna hold the sheath out.
I mean, you see how cool this sword is, though, right?
It's very cool, and you can pull it out again later, but just for right now.
Okay, I'll hold you to that. I'm gonna pull this sword out once we get settled here.
Fair enough. Somebody's got to hang on to it until we can return it to Whittaker. So,
fuck yeah.
We get the sword put away.
He took his vorpal sword in hand. Long time the manxome foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree and stood a while in thought.
Is he just narrating? Is that what's going on? Can I use cryptid sighting? Can I ask an investigative mystery question?
Sure, you can.
What is being concealed here?
Valid. So valid.
I thought it went back into its creepy little cave, but did it just walk like 3 feet into the shadows and then turn around and is watching us? And just narrating what it thinks we're doing?
That seems to be the case. You can see like its little forked tail just sort of like swifting back and forth at the mouth of the cave.
I'm so perplexed by this thing.
Have you never heard the Jabberwocky poem before?
I think I did. I read Alice in Wonderland as a kid, so it's like familiar, but I remember also being so fucking confused back then.
Yeah.
'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gar and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogroves, and the mumwraiths outgrabe.
You don't think we could like give it a peanut butter sandwich, do you? The possibility of being able to reason with it has really changed the outlook on this.
I gotta hear the voice with a peanut butter sandwich in mouth.
That is some Foley I will not subject our listeners to.
Oh my god, no.
Me eating peanut butter on mic.
Oh my god. Let me try something. Amity is gonna take a couple steps towards the Jabberwock, who appears to just be watching them. Hi, Jabberwock. We're sorry if we startled you.
What would you be if you hadn't?
I suppose seekers. We're looking for some important ingredients to help a friend. And if you're willing, we would really appreciate a tooth from you.
Alas, I am the Jabberwock, and I don't know anyone named Willing.
Oh my god.
I thought we were gonna have to fight this thing. We just have to engage in creative wordplay with it.
Yeah.
And in fact, as you have that thought, Raven, Amity, you get a message.
From who?
It's from Gilly.
Okay.
A stump nearby stands, and there is Gilly with their stump hat, and they are holding a little blue wood duck.
Oh my god.
Hello, Amity. Nana Margie sent me with a message.
Uh-huh.
And they hold up the duck, and Blueberry just kind of opens her mouth.
Aw.
And you hear Nana Margie's voice coming through the other side.
Kid, have you gotten to the Jabberwock yet?
Yeah, we're talking with him.
Yeah, sure. I'll break my specifically cryptic riddle-based speaking bit just to tell you that my pronouns are in fact he, him.
It's always good to ask.
It's always polite to ask people for their pronouns.
Oh, goodness.
We're speaking with him right now.
Oh, good. Thank goodness you didn't try and fight that thing. I was wrong. There was a bit of jam on my spell book.
Uh-huh.
You don't need a Jabberwock tooth. You need a Jabberwock truth.
Oh.
So don't go swinging anything in its face. You don't need to take any of its teeth. That would be terrible.
Kind of like a pearl of wisdom?
Exactly. Yeah, did you get one of those?
We did.
Fantastic. I gotta get back to stirring the soup. You get back and hurry right away.
We're working on it. Right, changing approaches then.
Blueberry closes their bill, and Gilly just says,
Right, well, best of luck. I'm gonna take Blueberry back.
Yep, see you in a few. Let Margie know that the royal beasts are out and about. That might be a problem.
Oh, that does sound like a problem. Would you like some help with that?
Potentially, yes, but one thing at a time.
Indeed. You handle this, and we'll take care of those royal beasts.
We? As in you and Blueberry?
Don't worry.
He turns around and starts skipping off towards the storm. And you see he takes the stump hat that he's wearing, throws it into the sky, and you hear him say,
All right, Blueberry, let's go for a walk.
and toss her up into the air. And this stump hat of Gilly's begins to enlarge. And Blueberry flies up into the opening where it would normally sit on Gilly's little gnomish head. And as it tumbles through the air, we see thunk, thunk, two massive duck feet. And now Gilly's hat has taken on the form of a large stump-shaped cottage. And out of the roots are Blueberry's little duck feet. And Gilly whisks themselves up on top of the stump with a little bit of magic. And they go charging off into the wastes to confront the royal beasts.
You can just do whatever cool shit you want as a DM, can't you? Incredible.
I never considered that Blueberry could just do that wherever.
So much to process.
We're breaking the rules. It's the Havens. It's the Alice in Wonderland arc.
Amity just kind of like puts her hands on her hips, tilts her head to one side, and just goes, okay, Jabberwock.
Yes, that's me. I didn't mean to frighten you. I've been quite untoward, but I wish to know which is mightier, the pen or Vorpal sword.
Oh my god. Apparently I've been misinformed. I don't need a tooth from you. I need a truth from you. Would you please share a Jabberwock truth with us?
Roll charm.
Oh shit, okay. Please, dice. It's a 9.
I can try to help.
Go ahead and try and help.
I got a 10.
Nice.
Hey.
That's a success.
That's enough. I'll take it. Let's go.
Nicely done. What do you say, Raven?
You know what I think it is? When Amity said, can you share a truth with us? Raven just gave Amity the tiniest little nudge of like, correct yourself. I'm like, a Jabberwock truth with us.
Yeah, love that. Yes.
Mm-hmm. To be sure I understand your quest, to share my truth is your behest.
Yes, we need a Jabberwock truth. Will you share your truth with us?
It takes great effort crafting rhyme, but it's a beloved passion mine. There's rarely those to share it to, except in this case, all of you. Do you think I'm any good? I often wonder if I should give up my dreamy poet ways and get a job instead that pays.
Oh,
he's an artist. He needs validation.
Oh my god.
A little too real.
Their long, monstrous neck with the long spikes on it sort of crawls out the front of the cavern. They have these big, like, bug eyes, like tiny pupils, very sharp, nasty-looking teeth. Like, this is a frightening monster. But if a terrifying Jabberwock monster could, like, put out a pouty lip and do an ooh-woo face, that's kind of what the energy is.
oh, he's insecure.
Yeah.
And he needs an audience.
I love him.
Poor guy.
I love him so much. He's an insecure little artist monster.
No one ever comes and asks him or lets him perform.
Oh.
So yeah, what do you say to the Jabberwock? He wants to know if you think he is good at poetry.
Girlie, you can't hesitate. He'll notice.
No, I'm trying to formulate a response.
His rhyming is good.
We have to rhyme back at him, right? Like, that feels like the only appropriate response.
Oh, please.
Oh my god, yeah.
For sure.
No, we gotta.
Okay.
We've got to show the same respect back.
He's so eloquent. I don't know how we're going to compete, but...
Take a second.
Okay. Durs and Brittany, let me know if that's good. I tried my best. I figured we could each speak a pair of lines.
Your rhymes are a home run. Truly second to none.
To rhyme on the fly is the skill money can't buy.
Your creativity bursts at the seams. It'd be a shame if you gave up your dreams.
Oh, that's very sweet. I love that.
It's perfect.
I think you're great.
You should ask to see his sketchbook.
Oh my God.
Do you have a movie script? We have friends.
We know a girl.
Have you ever considered streaming poetry?
We gotta get him into like poetry slams.
Savenwield open mic.
Yeah. It was really cool. You're really good at it.
Yeah, get Wendy's family in here to appreciate the art.
Yeah.
I mean, you could suggest there's a captive audience on the plains.
I hope they're not captive anymore. Jeez.
Oh my God.
You know, there's a jaybird and a bandersnatch that are in need of some good poetry.
Ooh.
The Jabberwock nods and takes in your compliments, and he says,
And hast thou spared the Jabberwock? Come to my arms as they deploy. O frabjous day, Callooh, Calais! He chortled in his joy.
and this monster emerges from their cave and scoops you all up in a hug.
Oh my God.
And you see Amity as they squeeze you all tight. Just a single glistening tear escapes the side of their eye.
She's gonna like rustle into her bag for an empty little vial because she's got like a dozen of those and just quickly stick it out and catch it.
And it just glistens there with a bright sparkle within it.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
And the Jabberwock releases you from the hug and says,
Now I, the Jabberwock, dear friends, with jaws that bite and claws that catch, will face this Jub bird and then the Frumyus Bandersnatch.
And takes off and goes to catch up with Blueberry and Gilly-Doo as the Bandersnatch and Jub bird emerge over the cresting hill of the desert dunes and start rushing towards those two. Lightning flying towards the Jabberwock as it spirals in the air, and Blueberry trying to stamp down on the Bandersnatch as it spirals up one leg, gets on top of the house, and Gilly has to like fire a blast from their little wizard staff at it. A pitched combat is beginning at the edge of the Jabberwock's domain. But y'all, you gotta go.
And he goes, yeah, okay, so that's our cue to go. And she's corking the vial and tucking it into her pocket. Grab onto me, let's go. She's gonna fiery teleport them back to Merlin's cottage.
Right before they teleport away, Raven just calls after the Jabberwock, don't stop making art.
Oh.
Your rhyming is so smart.
Yeah, we did it! We did it! Teamwork.
Flames and wind surround you, and your group vanishes from this desolate landscape, which does need some art in it now and then. We cut back to the courtroom, and we see Dr. Kabe looking at a watch. And as Anya she's going to be ushered away, but she like holds up her hand and says, no, I need to be here. And she goes and takes her seat on the tree and looks out at the crowd. She's sort of staring at the middle distance, but there is like a sense she's trying to just take in this moment in case it doesn't go her way. Kabe checks his watch one more time and then stands and says to the court,
The defense calls Hugo Rashad to the stand.
And that's where we'll end our session.
Oh boy.
Dun, dun, dun.
I may be mortal. Stories are eternal.
Ooh, oh boy.
I'm gonna go back to deep breathing now.
All right. We'll see you next time, adventurers.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay, thanks, bye-bye.